Hey, world, how are you guys doing? Sorry we're late. We've had some technical stuff going on behind the scenes and mostly cat related issues where a cat decided to screw with one of my players' computers. As we all know, cats are both the worst and the cutest,
And dragons.
and also secretly dragons. But nonetheless, here we are, and we're going to start playing some D&D. So, thank you so much for joining us. Let's start with a quick check-in on everyone's beliefs, make sure that everyone has beliefs and all that stuff, like we forgot to do last time. So I can see from Sarah's face that I should not start with Sarah. So Faye,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm doing peachy keen.
Let's check in on Juniper's beliefs.
All right, so Juniper's beliefs are same as ever. She wants to find information that can help Solon with the conduit business without becoming Clayface. So they'll be able to interact more easily, or at least understand more of the nature of the conduit between the whatever is down there. Even like some kind of indication of what is down there. I've had it written all out nice and fine, and I don't remember where I left it.
That's okay. I feel like I understand that well enough. I feel like that's close enough to something that I can understand, and I feel like that's a clear and concise enough goal that I'm not too worried about any perceived lack of precision that you might be feeling. You are going to research the conduit to gather information to help your friends.
Yes.
Feel good?
Yep.
Excellent. Shall I check in with Samhain?
Sorry, there was an accident in my kitchen involving eggs.
Excellent.
Sorry.
I've never had that happen before. Certainly not yesterday.
Yeah, the spouse opened up the door and the eggs decided that they wanted to take a leap of faith.
Oh no!
Back.
Was it a team building exercise?
Yes.
Oh,
Jesus.
Oh man.
They failed their next save.
Oh man.
Oh man, my lovely wife, who I love.
Your wife succeeded on her charisma check. Nonetheless, Jesspack and or Samhain. Yes. Does Samhain have a belief system that we can monetize for rewards? Let's hear it.
Yeah, monetize for leveling up. Yeah, so I am still in the process of leveraging my my newly founded relationships with Mimsy Demare, which is the noble who I had to fight with a rapier at a fucking party. At his bequest, or like at his bequest, and the councilman who has taken quite a shining to me, who I'm going to be having dinner with this evening, so that'll be fun.
You will. We've got a couple scenes to get through with you, actually. And let's check in on my dear Thomas.
Oh God, where's Mia?
She'll be here when she gets here. She's having some whatever.
No, I know. I just like need a shield. Like I need one other person. Hey Marcus, what's your no?
Marcus isn't here. Marcus is a ghost.
Wanted to make, remember?
What?
Marcus is our producer, by the way, those who are watching.
Well, yeah, but that's a decision. That's not a belief. I don't know how to attach something to that. I'm at a bit of a loss.
Okay. What's your intention? What do you want to accomplish?
I'm so embarrassed right now. I had a week and I forgot that this existed, and
we all forget every week. Sorry. Just don't worry, it happens. I have forgotten to edit beliefs before. It happens. Don't worry about it so much.
I'm not really sure. I'm thinking, but I can't think.
A good jumping point would be, what was your last one?
He was. This sounds really stupid now. He was trying to do his best to protect his friends in the city who may have been in danger after the fallout from the party.
Yes. And do you feel like you accomplished that, or did work towards that last time, and you want to change that, or do you want to maintain that?
I feel like he partially accomplished it. Obviously, it's going to be an ongoing thing in a game like this. But
Yes, your friends are always at risk from the evil machinations of Matthew. I mean, someone.
No.
Well, think about where you left off. He was on the way to do the vengeance quest with Kaz.
Mm-hmm.
He also had that whole like, am I gonna be head priest? Am I not gonna be head priest thing going on? There's Blackberry. Also discovering his friend is lying. There are a lot of things that happen.
Yeah, so a belief is just an action item, something that you want to accomplish in today's session, or in one of the upcoming sessions, certainly. Don't have to think about it more than that.
I mean, he's got a lot going on, but a lot of it is like very vague.
Yeah, I think part of the goal of the belief system that we have in place is to de-vaguify certain belief things so that it becomes something that's less vague. We'll figure that out. You're also not on camera right now, just so you know, just for a second.
No, I know. I'm just trying really, really hard to think, and I can't focus.
Do you want me to go to Nia, who has just joined us?
If possible, I'm really sorry.
Hey, Nia, how are you doing?
Hi.
It's good to have you. Welcome back. I missed you. We are just doing beliefs.
Okay.
So what? How's
Sarah's got her head in her hands.
No, Sarah has just forgotten. Sarah just forgot to do her belief this week and was feeling stressed about it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, understandable.
Yes, very often understandable. Let's talk to you, Nia, and Kaz. What's Kaz's belief this week?
So, Kaz's priority changed when she heard about what had happened to Blackberry. So, currently, I think she's just looking to seek some kind of a retribution on his behalf. And that's what she'd like to get done above all first.
Yeah. I will gain vengeance for the crimes against Blackberry. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really powerful and scary stuff.
Yeah, it's gotten to that point, I think.
Well, that happens sometimes. Well, Kaz, I'm excited to see what happens with that. Nia, I'm glad to have you back with us. Welcome back.
Thanks. Good to be back.
And how are you doing, Sarah? You have a belief?
I mean, I could keep the same one theoretically because I could always keep that one because, as we've said, it's always going to be an issue. I just don't know if it's at like the front of his mind now that things are looking a little quieter.
So what is on the front of his mind?
Well, I mean, I kind of know what I'm going to ultimately have him do, but he's been trying to figure out what to do about I mean, let me go back to my notes. I feel so dumb. I was late showing up to the stream and now I'm holding us up.
It was your cat's fault, not yours.
Well, it was kind of mine.
He's really cute too, so it's okay. Also, cool hair.
Oh, thank you. Need a better system for writing people's names down. Like, I'm not sure where we're jumping in because you said there was probably going to be a time
Not
skip.
yet. At the end of today's episode.
Oh, okay. Then he is going to try to do his best to figure out how to help fill the needed position as a priest of Tamden for the betterment of the community.
Okay. Yeah. I love it. I think that's great. So you're going to accept the job for the betterment of the community.
I hate the way that's phrased, though, because it really doesn't get into the back and forth that I've been doing and all of like the charts and the pros and cons list and all of the conflict that I've had and by extension he's had for this whole time. And it feels like really vain, like, oh yeah, me being in charge is what's best for the community. And that's not where I'm coming from with him.
Well, then let's actually shift the belief to before that point then, if this is okay. Let's see how this works. Who would Thomas seek for advice? Is there someone in his life? Maybe someone we haven't even met yet. I don't know.
Honestly, he wishes that he could talk to Fabian, because he's always had kind of an outsider's perspective on Thomas's life, and he's very good at survival.
Well, then how about this as a belief? What about I will find a way to contact Fabian and ask for his advice about my current situation?
I don't know that there's, even magically, I don't know that there's a way to do that within the timeline that we're operating on.
I mean, I don't know if there is either, but do you think Thomas would try? If this is a moment where Thomas is feeling emotional crisis, and by extension, like, you think Thomas would seek someone who could help him, then is there, like, is this something that he would try? Would he ask for help from someone?
Yes. His list of people who can effectively help him is shorter than ever, but I think so.
Well, then I think that's a really interesting and compelling belief, right? When the decision itself, when like the action of what you're talking about doing itself for your character doesn't feel like dramatic or compelling, like it just feels like the natural resolution, then what we want to do is we want to shift the belief to an earlier point in time, to the point in time where what we're doing is actually talking about doing it, or discovering how we're going to go about doing it, or discovering what matters to us in this circumstance a little bit more. And that's sort of a really effective way of turning a belief on its head. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah? That help?
Yes.
A little? Excellent. Okay, well, that's everyone's beliefs. The stream is a little black, but I'll imagine that we'll get back to that shortly. No big deal. I think everyone can still hear me. Let us start then with Samhain. I know we ended with a cliffhanger on Juniper, but we're going to start with Samhain anyway.
Yay.
So, Samhain, where are you at? What are you doing? What scene do you want to have? Tell me what you want to have happen. You're muted.
It'd be helpful if I unmute myself.
There you go.
Yes. I imagine I would be getting changed out of the clothes I wore to the soup kitchen and getting. Do I know where I was supposed to meet him? Was I meeting him at the Soulward Tavern, or was I meeting him somewhere else for dinner?
Yeah, he actually gave you a place. It was the name of a rather fancy restaurant.
Oh, okay. Then someone's gonna make sure. Is it okay? For my frame of reference, is it as formal as the ball was?
Yes. Maybe not quite. The ball was closer to like the Met Gala. This is closer to like the type of restaurants that the people who go to the Met Gala would go to. If that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
It's not like 20 stars. It's like 4 stars, 5 stars, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So someone's gonna make sure that he looks presentable. He'd probably take out his tail piercings and some of his ear piercings so that there's not so many.
But you still leave some in.
Yeah. Yeah. Like 2 in each ear is probably what he dials it back to. But all of the tail piercings are out. He'll sort of wear something similar to what he wore to the gala and make his way there. How long of a walk is it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. We're muting.
Cat stream. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, it's a goodly walk. It's probably about an hour from the part of town where you are. It's sort of going from like the not the bad part of town, but the more middle class to the upper class. It's uphill. You know, towards the same area.
Okay, then I don't want to walk there because I don't want to be gross when I arrive from walking. I don't think we've ever really touched upon like modes of transportation in Racy.
Carriages are quite popular, pulled by various sorts of creatures. It's sort of their form of For upper class people, that's very popular.
Okay, so how hard would it be for me, who's very much a middle class person, to get a carriage? And how expensive is it going to be? I know that money isn't a problem because I've got 10,000 schmeckles that I'm swimming in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess how expensive is a carriage going to be? And like, can I pick one that definitely shows I understand where I am on the food chain, but isn't too shabby to arrive to a 4-star restaurant? I
Yeah,
guess.
absolutely. Yeah, why don't you roll something for here, I think.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
call it, I think this is survival, I'm going to call it.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is gonna be great. Okay. Hang on, the character sheet for some reason is not moving to the place where I want it to be.
Okay.
Ooh, okay, this might not end in my favor. Wait,
We'll
do I
find
have
out.
an inspiration?
I think you do.
Then I'm gonna use that on this because I don't want to make a bad first impression.
Sounds good. Excellent choice.
All right, so let me toggle that on really quick before I roll. Advantage.
Mm-hmm. 21.
Need it anyways. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you're exactly right. There's modes of transport. They scale in price. The one that seems like the best for you is there's a carriage. It's sort of like it's a little bit higher cost than like you typically would spend on your fare. So it makes you feel like it's fancy, but it's not like it's not like renting a limo, right? It's like renting a black cab in some ways, you know.
Okay.
And it's a carriage. It's pulled by 2 giant flightless birds. Sort of ostrich type things.
Oh
and they
wow.
pull the carriage for you.
What do they look like? I know you said they're ostrich type things, but what color are their feathers and stuff?
They're actually yellow. They look closer to giant canaries.
Oh, so
than
like
they do ostrich.
chocobos.
Yes.
They're just ostrich size.
I'm being pulled by chocobos. Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm down for this.
Yeah. So the chocobos carry you, and the driver rides outside the carriage, obviously, and guides the chocobos while you are inside the carriage. And pulls you, asks you where you want to go, and you give him the name of the restaurant, and he looks impressed, but takes you there. It's uphill. The chocobos get a good run in. It's good for them to get a little bit of running in. They like it. And they do flap their wings a little bit as they run, but they don't ever get off the ground at all.
Same.
Oh,
I love it. Okay, and you make it to the restaurant.
Okay, cool.
The driver pulls up and stops the chocobos and hops down and walks to the side and opens the door for you very elegantly and bows to you.
Okay.
The typical fee for this would be 1 gold, 5 silver.
1 gold, 5 silver.
And there typically a tip would be expected of some sort.
I'll give him 3 gold.
Okay. Yeah, he takes the 3 gold and quite graciously bows deeply to you.
That's not rude, right?
Nope.
Okay. I want to make sure that I'm definitely not rude to this man.
Yeah. Absolutely. No. I would let you know if you were being rude because you're Samhain and you know social niceties and things like that. That's part of your wheelhouse, as it were.
Okay. All right.
You would have the etiquette skill word in existence.
Because just the player is too gay to do math.
The maitre d' for the restaurant is a sort of weird-looking fellow. He's inordinately tall for a goblin. Still very clearly a goblin, very skinny, but like 5'3", 5'4", whereas most goblins usually cap out at around like 4 feet. But he stands very stiff and very straight, and he has a very, very bushy white mustache. And he sort of bows politely to you and says, "Ah, welcome. Are you Monsieur Samhain Nevermore?"
Wait. I don't give out my last name.
I know you do not.
That is yikes. Yikes. Okay, yeah, I have to. Okay. Yikes. Yes, that is That is I.
Please come right this way. I am to escort you to the table where you will be meeting Councilman Tarlock. You've arrived before him, but I would expect him within a minute or two.
Okay, thank you. So I know you said that this goblin is inordinately tall and that he caps out at 5. Is he doing this with like a disguise self type of deal where he's made himself look a little bit taller to appease the patrons, or is this just how he normally is?
Yeah. So you want to like look for magic or something like that? Do you want to cast detect magic, or do you want to just like look at him carefully and see if you can tell?
No, I just want to look at him carefully.
Why don't you roll a perception check?
Okay, cool. Perception. That's a 7.
Yeah. With a 7, it's hard to tell. You know, he's a tall goblin. Maybe he does that sort of thing, but maybe he's just a tall goblin. There's certainly, you know, people who are outside the average range of height for their species.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's just that you drew attention to it, so I was like, what is this?
Yeah. This is...
Okay, yeah, so
you're brought to a table, and you sit down, and immediately a different waiter comes over and bows to you and offers you like a warm finger bath for your fingers and a moist towelette. It's very hoity-toity. And
yeah, on the inside, Sawa just feels a little weird about it.
And as you're like dipping your fingers in the water, Councilman Tarlock enters brusquely and just walks and nods to the maitre d', and the maitre d' sort of nods back to him. No attempt to stop him. Clearly, they know each other on some level. And Councilman Tarlock just walks over and pulls out his chair and takes out a napkin and throws it out and lands it on his lap and sits down and immediately starts washing his fingers in his own finger bowl that has magically appeared, it seems. And he turns to you and says, Samhain, so good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me here.
The pleasure's all mine. Thank you for the invitation.
Yes, well, I thought it was in a good place for an auspicious beginning to a new and hopefully worthwhile friendship, something that we can accomplish together.
So I'm just gonna politely nod and smile. Yeah, so there was matters that you wanted to speak to me about?
Oh, yes, of course. But first, might I recommend, we'll just do the chef's platter, and he just turns to a waiter. The waiter appears. It's one of those, like, really good waiters who, like, seems to magically appear and disappear. You know they don't, but they're just, like, there whenever you want them and not there when you don't want them, and you never notice they're moving. They just roll, like, a nat 20 on all stealth checks at all times. And he just turns to him and says, we'll have the chef's special. We'll split it between the two of us. If that's okay with you, Stalin?
Yes, that's fine. Do I know
Excellent.
what the chef's special is?
Not a clue.
Okay, yeah.
And the waiter nods and says, excellent, and walks away. So he turns back to you and says, so, Samhain, surely you have some curiosity about why I've asked you here, of course.
Yeah, yes, I am rather curious.
Well, it crosses my mind that there are problems in this city right now, and problems that we should be addressing. You know, things are difficult right now for some peoples, and I want to stop that as much as I can. I want to help people, and it crossed my mind that if I wanted to help people, that I would need people to help me help people. And when I was thinking of who could possibly help me to help people, well, no one came to my mind faster than, well, yours truly there, Salwin.
Yeah, is he being genuine or is he being really facetious right now?
Yeah, roll an insight check.
Don't mind if I do. 19.
Yeah, he's a politician. He's always over the top.
Okay.
He is someone who, you know, the Chalestra has sort of a weird relationship between democracy and leadership in the sense that you must be technically one of the elders to become the elder that is nominated for this thing. But this guy is young, and yet he's on the council. So that's weird. So either, like, at the ripe old age of 38, he is the oldest person in his tribe, or there were some exemptions made and somehow he got the position despite the fact maybe he's there by proxy of someone. Like, you don't know. You haven't done any research or investigation into this guy on that front. But as far as
I
you
don't
know,
really have the time.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there hasn't been time. This happened 3 days ago. But no, he's definitely like, this is, you get the vibe immediately. Politician, wants to be seen doing good work, wants to be recognized for doing good work, and probably even believes in doing good work on some level.
Yeah, I just didn't know if this was like. I guess I should have rephrased what I was trying to accomplish with my insight check.
Mhm.
What I was trying to figure out is if he is doing this because he feels like there needs to be PR management for what happened at the gala with
Mhm.
the attack, or if this is just independent of what happened there. But if I can't determine that from what I rolled, then I will
Yeah,
wait
from
until another opportunity arises.
yeah. From your perspective, I mean, it's worth pointing out that he did invite you to this dinner before the gala. Right? He
Yes.
didn't invite you at the gala. He invited you before the gala.
Yeah.
And he did say, I'm going to have an opportunity for you that I
Yes.
want to discuss further, perhaps after the gala. So, on some level, he was probably thinking about this before the gala. There's no evidence to show that he's changed his mind since the gala, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Okay.
Well, I'm very honored and flattered that I was the first to come to mind. What exactly were you looking to do?
Yes, an excellent question. Well, it is my desire to start some sort of task force that's mandated with the idea that we come up with projects, things that the government could do that would what's the word? Make its people, the citizens of Chalestra and of Racy and of the Shimmering Seas, but whatever, but mostly Chalestra, would make them happy. Find a way to bring joy and spread it to people's lives.
Ooh. um I have to think here because the first thing that came to my mind, Jess the player,
Mm,
is probably the not the first thing that Sawin actually should say to this man.
mm.
Would be, well, treating all of the citizens like citizens would be a good place to start. Um
Do you want to say that? Just to see
um
how he reacts?
I I would like to say it, but I would like to say it in a more polite way
Hmm.
than Jess would probably put it to somebody's face. um, Hang on. So I've noticed in the days since the incident um, that some of our citizens have not been treated with the respect uh, that they deserve as being fellow beings who are living and working in the city of Racy.
Oh, I know, and my heart goes out to everyone who suffers that way. I really am a strong believer that all Celestrans are true Celestrans, and we must help everyone who feels that they belong here. That is that is absolutely true. And in fact, my goal with this project would be to help make that happen. Help make people feel like they belong here in Chalestra. Maybe even invite some tourism. Racy is a beautiful city, and I love it when people come to visit. Don't you love it when people come to visit? I always want to show off some beautiful sights and the like. But just to be honest, that is beyond the strict purview of the reach that we have been granted in our charter from Primarch Magli Blackice. It is under his auspices, his desire that we do smaller things to make people feel included. But I think even through these smaller things, we can make an impactful difference. We can commission art about what Racy and Chalestra is. We can have sculptures built and murals painted. We could have all sorts of citizens paint them. Do you know any artists who are uh, would be interested in a project like this? Of course, we have a budget as well, so we can pay them a reasonable fee to make a beautiful art to celebrate Chalestra and its beautiful history, and it's the promise of tomorrow.
This is a just sigh. So basically, this is an art committee. Is basically what it is. It's a beautification committee.
Mm-hmm.
So, yikes. Not that there's
It's a
anything wrong
state-sponsored
with
beautification
yeah.
committee.
There's nothing wrong with state governments commissioning artists to do work. That's not what I have a problem with. It is definitely overlooking people first type of mentality and making sure that all citizens are treated equally and with respect and care. Doing this would have obvious benefits. This is still out of character. I'm not in character. I'm mulling over options out loud.
Sure, yeah, go for it. I'm here to mull with you.
I would have the ability to do or get more information than what I would have previously about Magli possibly and his conspirators.
Very true.
However, I have never given anybody my last name in this fucking town. And the mater d fucking knew my whole government. That's not okay. I swear to God, if a star is out here spilling hot goss, then I'm gonna have to chuck her into the ocean. Oh God. Sawin also very much doesn't want to do this because he knows how it looks. Or how it will look to people who have been suffering in the past 3 days to be accepted to the committee. And okay, well, first things first. I suppose, how soon were you looking to start this project?
Well, we just received the charter on Wednesday. I put it forth as an idea several months ago, honestly, but with the I'm looking for people to join over the next couple of weeks, but and come with perhaps some of their own projects that they want to do, or perhaps we could come with structural ways about how we want to tackle this, what sort of projects we want to do, and we can create a system. Maybe we do an open call for submissions. There's so many options. I really don't know. Isn't it exciting?
Are there limitations that I should be aware of before joining the project?
Well, we have a budget, of course. But the way it's working right now, it's an annual budget, and if the project is deemed successful, then we'll get it re-upped for the following year, perhaps even grown a little if we're do the right sorts of things and make some cool things happen. But if we get some good publicity around everything, it could be good for everyone. And that could be wonderful. But in terms of you're worried about censorship or content? No, nothing like that has been discussed. That would be, well, you'd be the committee, so you'd be on the committee, or we'd be on the committee, and so we could discuss those sorts of things.
Right. My concern is not so much with the committee doing the censoring. I have concerns, however, that that if good art is being made, that those who are funding the committee have the end up having the final say over what projects are seen to completion.
Oh, that seems like a stretch. I wouldn't worry about it. No one has said anything of the sort to me. As far as I know, I get to pick who's on the committee. The committee has final say. I guess technically I'm chair of the committee, so I guess I probably technically have veto power. But I can't imagine that you'll have any objections to that.
Is I suppose not rude? A rude answer? I guess.
Is what? Yeah.
I was asking if
No.
I suppose not, when he said if I had any objections to
Yeah.
it, and if I said I suppose not, is a rude answer, because I don't want to be rude.
No, I don't think that's a rude answer.
Okay, yeah. So I suppose not. It was just a question I had. I like to have all my T's crossed and I's dotted, if you will.
Yes, of course. You shouldn't really. Chalestra is not like Prion. We don't have a history of like censorship or state secrets or something like that. No, we're a very open society. We tell our citizens the truth. I wouldn't worry about things like that.
Do I know that to be true? What he's saying about?
I don't know. Yeah, roll a history check.
Do I get to roll with advantage because of P?
Yes.
Okay. All right, advantage. 14.
You're certainly aware that there are things that Brian has buried literally in the desert, and avoids talking about, and things that have been stricken from records before. There is sort of a renewed interest in the history of Brian right now, including excavating some old tombs and things like that, including one that your friend Tiss is working on right now. But certainly they have a history of sometimes deciding, okay, that's the end of that chapter. We're just going to put it all in a giant tomb and bury the tomb under the desert and never think about it again. All records of this thing will be squashed. No one will ever hear of it. They quite famously or infamously, with a 14, have done that with certain types of magic.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to determine if that was like a really rude thing for him to say about Prion and the Prion people, but I'm just gonna
a little bit.
Slide. Yeah,
it's certainly it's one of those things that, while perhaps true, is not polite, right? It's definitely like, and it's definitely not true necessarily about Chalestra, right? If he believes that, he might be a little shall we say blind.
do I know that about Chalestra? Like that it has buried stuff, or like its government has buried stuff in the past?
I mean, you certainly know that it's burying stuff now.
Yes, but I can't really speak to that for fear of jeopardizing everybody. But if there was a past instance, I think that would be cool to speak to and say, well, I mean, not all governments are always exactly upfront with its citizens, is what I'll just say.
Yes, that's certainly true. And I'm certain that many governments have their reasons. I'm not in charge of any of that sort of thing. Obviously the Grand Accord has its little spies going on, and I'm sure that there are spies on, like, who work for us too. But I'm not. That's not really my purview. That's not my business. I don't sully my hands with that sort of thing.
Is that true? Can I insight check him?
Yeah, roll an insight check.
23.
Hold on.
Does he sully his hands with this stuff?
If what he is telling you is not true, then he is a phenomenally good liar.
It wouldn't be the first time, right?
I mean, and to be fair, the things you're asking about are things that would, if he was going to lie about them, he would be quite good at lying about them.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair. So, my passing knowledge of him is just that he's a council person. Do I happen to know other council people besides Magli and Stepwise?
Yeah, we certainly can have you. We can create someone that if you want to roll. I know someone.
Oh, no,
or
no. I was just trying to figure out like how many council members there were
Mhm.
and what because I want to
yeah.
basically figure out what exactly his purview is, if it's just
Mhm.
arts and
Mhm.
community building and that's his specific function as opposed to like Mela having like her own specific role because she's so knowledgeable about a lot of topics, things like that.
Mhm.
Like so she's probably like the information leader of like the council or whatever what have you.
Yes, you have it exactly right. The council has 12 positions in a Primarch, so
Mhm.
13 members on the council, and they sort of function like a voting body, but the Primarch sort of puts things forward that they vote on, so the Primarch has sort of a lot of power.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, they each sort of end up with their own little fields of speciality a little bit. It's not official positions. There's not like the high priest of war, the high priest of information. It's more like the things that they are interested in and or they think will benefit society tend to be what they focus on. But because it's a voting body and majority tends to rule, you tend to see a lot of alliances, right? A lot of
Mhm.
people working together to get their things voted, and that sort of sometimes mellows out policy as well.
Okay. Um if I may be so bold,
Mhm.
who exactly is doing the funding? The government, right?
Mhm.
So, how is the government funding it? Is this through like taxes or
Mhm.
it's through taxes?
Yes, we've been taxing people for. I mean, the government is. People pay their taxes. People want a good city. We've got beautification efforts. We've got streets being maintained and ships being built, and everything's being funded, as it were. And well, part of that funding is now going towards arts and public good and public emotional health.
Public emotional health.
Yes, I coined the phrase. Do you like it? I think it sort of gets at the heart of what we're going for here.
Hang on. Just the players writing this down because okay. Um yeah, it's an interesting um that is a clever clever phrase.
Thank you much. Does that mean that I can at least pen you down as interested? We have, of course, salaried positions for people who are working for this. It's not, much, but it's a job, and it can, and like for to earn that, we expect you to be working on it. It's a thing that you'll have to do, something you'll have to commit to.
Right. I understand. Um
Meanwhile, like as this is going out, like a very nice glass of wine has been placed in front of you, as well as like a small plate of crab cakes.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna eat or drink anything until he does first, since he is the host.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
he immediately takes something and oh, these crab cakes are divine.
all right,
Mm.
yeah. As long as like he's eating, then I will eat and partake. But I'm gonna limit
Yemis
the.
himself must have blessed this bounty.
um, I'm going to yeah. So I will partake in a little bit of the wine, but I'm probably not gonna finish my glass. I'm gonna kind of nurse it.
Hmm.
Um.
Hmm.
Uh. So how much is the salary? I do have other obligations that I'm currently doing within the community. Um, as it is my current job. Is Sawin technically a freelancer? Yeah, Sawin's technically a freelancer. So I have I have current jobs that I do have to see to completion before I take on another. For instance, I'm tutoring somebody um, in music, and I do have jobs elsewhere that I have to make sure that are done. So, how much time is going to be like if I were to take the salaried position? What would be my time requirement to dedicate to it?
Oh, time requirements, Samhain. You speak in such a formal manner. No, treat it a little bit more casually than that. This is think of it as a way for you to to benefit the communities of Chalestra. Don't worry too much about the time requirements. There's no time card to punch in and out of hours and things like that. No, we'll have meetings. There'll be psionic messages sent when we all want to get together, and we'll get together for like an hour or two every week or so and discuss plans and then make actions, and we can all go out and work on our own time. No, it won't take up much of your time at all. I can't imagine that we'll do too many meetings. I myself find them quite pleasant, but I understand that many people hate meetings, and I don't want to argue with that.
Did I hear you correctly? And you said psionic messages?
Yes, the council, we use a psionic messaging service. You've never had one?
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that.
Never been to Abarak, I see. Yes, it's quite the rage in Abarak, and we decided to take it on up here.
How?
It's been working wonders for us. Easy to get in touch with everyone, find people as we need to. It's quite great.
This is a just noise, not a solid noise. I don't want these people in my brain. You kidding me?
It's closer to the sending spell.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't worry about it too much. Though you should feel free to worry about it.
You say that, but it's gotten me in trouble in another campaign, so I'm skeptical. Really skeptical.
Well, I would never put you in danger or jeopardy, ever.
So it's like the message. So as from player standpoint, it's like the messaging spell, but like amplified.
Yeah. Abarak is a society that has psionics. They have mastered certain psionic abilities. They push it further. You haven't come across this yet, but there's a new company that just opened in town recently that's like a messenger service, except they do psionics instead of other things. They're a private business, but they're essentially UPS of psionic messaging.
So I'm gonna say, I will have to admit that I am a little bit old-fashioned, and I'm not quite sure that I like the idea of psionic messaging, just because it is something that I had not heard about before, and it's going to take some getting used to. So if I may be if you would be so kind, I think I would prefer written correspondence regarding meetings.
Oh, sure. As long as you have a primary address that you can work from. I'm sorry, I understand. I will try to be more respectful. I shouldn't presume that all people would want to function the way that I like to function. Of course, artists are a temperamental bunch, and I can understand not wanting people to be inside your mind. I'll have to get used to that. I imagine that I'll be working with quite a few artists soon. And as he says that, he finishes his glass of wine, and the waiters come over and take off the reins of the crab cakes and then bring out the salad course that follows this. It's a small salad. They also remove your half-drunk wine or partially drunk wine and replace it with a new glass of wine. He's ordered the wine pairing for this 9-course meal.
It's a 9-course meal?
He's wining and dining you.
Yikes, I'm gonna be here all night. This is not the plan.
we're gonna elide parts of this, but
no,
yeah.
That's good. But I Sawa was not expecting this, because he was gonna meet with his friends after the morning meeting, because that was a woof. Okay. 9-course. Yeah, I'm not okay. Yep. Yeah, so I'm definitely nursing the wine. I am not going to imbibe a whole lot of that. Is it possible for Sawin to get water at this table? Because he's definitely gonna he's definitely gonna make heavy use of the water and not so much.
So a waiter again appears in that way that waiters appear, and just sort of looks at you and just immediately puts down a glass and fills it with ice cold water and nods at you and turns and walks away.
I didn't even ask for that. How? He just appeared and just automatically knew what I wanted and put it down. No. This is a visceral dislike I'm going through right now. That's fine. So how much was the salary position? I don't think I caught how much that was.
Sorry. Well, it's a little bit negotiable. We're trying to figure out what the appropriate amount is for the amount of work that we're looking at, but nothing too much, nothing too onerous. I'm sure we're looking at like maybe 200 gold a week.
For Jess frame of reference,
that's
is that a lot?
$4,000 a week. $4,000 a week.
$4,000. Wait, 200 gold a day, you said?
Yeah. No, wait, sorry, no, 200 gold a week.
200 gold a week, yeah.
Would be $4,000 US.
Oh, wow. Okay. I can buy a house. Yo. Okay. Yeah. So, Sawin's gonna keep his face passive and go. I mean, that sounds reasonable for what you're asking, and this is for the entire city, correct? The art projects, I mean, correct?
Oh, actually, no. Our intention is to do this for all of Chilestra. There'll be a focus here in the capital at first, in particular, because we want to sort of show the people what we're accomplishing, and the capital's where we can have the most populous amounts of people. But and obviously, our intention is to be deeply respectful of any historical landmarks of our people. Of course, whether you know about that or not, that's a different thing. But we have one of the other artists I'm looking at actually is a sculpture artist from one of the tribes down south. Really, just a fantastic artist. I've seen some of their work. They work with different types of shells actually, and construct things out of them. But they were recently involved in a protest against an artist who built a large-scale monument on top of a burial ground of our people, and I went to that protest and helped out and argued against them. It didn't ultimately work, but that's what helped lead me into my life in public life and sort of get elected so that I could make a difference in the world and do these sorts of things. And so I thought that I'd ask them to join as well. And so just to be very careful about all those sorts of things, but no, all Chilestra.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you had ideas as to where to start projects within the city of Racy, which is what I was trying to get at with my question.
Of course. Well, this is just my personal opinion, but there's this large open field in the docks, and occasionally there'll be shows or concerts there. It's not far. There's a couple of things, but it's like a nice little market square there. There's a shipbuilders district there as well, a company that builds ships and does shipping and things like that, a shipping company. And that park I've just always thought is very nice, but a little bare. And I thought it might be nice to find someone to commission to put a sculpture up there.
How many green spaces are there in Racy?
Oh, so many. I don't have a full count.
Out of character. Sorry, I should just do this when I want to speak out of character.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, my bad. I'll try and keep track of it. A lot though. It's a very green city. We've got a large park in it. We've got a large park that takes up like a measurable portion of it, and then we've got sort of the coast, which has some parts that are sort of more commercialized and some parts that are more just like beach. And then we've got sort of other things around as well. Not a lot of stuff built up, but a lot of stuff that's sort of designed for things. Probably like close to 200 of various size parks inside of the city.
Okay, all right.
Some are like a square that's like a block wide, and some are like massive green things. All sorts of things. But it's a fair amount of the city is
okay. Is this in the poorer district then?
Yes, actually, this is a place that Sawin knows very well. This is a place where you performed a concert as a distraction for people that were trying to break into a shipping company. 15.
So how of the like 200 parks that are around the city, what portion of them are in the poorer districts?
A good number of them. It's I don't have an exact number.
Okay.
But
Well, yeah, because Samhain was
is
going
your
to.
what's your intention? Do you want to focus on poorer districts? Do you want to focus on richer districts? Do you want to not
I
do this? Are you worried about impact on poorer districts in some ways?
I'm worried about impact on poorer districts and
Excellent.
gentrification, which is not my cup of tea. And I
Yes.
didn't want to take away green spaces from folks who are in the poorer districts, and having like art can be accessible to folks who are from low income families, but I don't want to like take away green space in order for us to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you express those concerns to him politely, and he sort of like says, "Well, that's exactly the sort of thing that is why I want to hire you, Sawin, for this, because you see those sorts of issues in the city and would make sure our point here is to again communal emotional health. That's our goal here, and I don't want to do anything that would jeopardize that. Perhaps if that park, if you don't want to, I don't want to take away the park at all, but perhaps we could put in play structures then for children or anything. Like I don't know, what do you think we need? And like he's like really trusting you a lot here. So I think instead of role playing out any more of this
Yeah.
conversation, I want to move
Yeah.
forward. But like, just why don't you roll a single persuasion check for me? And that'll be sort of how much influence and power you have over him if you take the job, and you can sort of decide whether you want to take the job or not.
Okay.
Yeah. So
24.
with the 16, yeah, he's
Oh,
very
sorry, I double rolled.
Don't worry. With a 16, he like is very very happy to like just give you like lots of authority and leeway to sort of come up with the sorts of projects that you want to have come up. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. That's good.
Yeah, he wines and dines you for 3 hours over the course of this thing, and you can decide whether you take it or not, or if you want to leave early or anything like that. But I am going to leave. The Kebra is going to leave. Whether you leave.
Yeah. I'll
You
like
don't have
at
to
the
decide
end
right
of the whining and dining session, Sawin will just say, if it's all right with you, I'd like a day or two to think about it, and then I can get back to you about the position.
Of course. And he smiles.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate your graciousness, and then we can cut it.
Excellent. Let's go check in. Sorry, it's been a little while,
Yeah,
but that was
sorry.
interesting. No worries.
that was
Let's go
great.
check in with Kaz and Thomas, who last I checked were on a vengeance quest. Is that still happening?
I would say so.
Excellent. Let's do this thing then. Do I still have my city block map?
Oh, this is great.
10-year-old man.
Let's see, what do we got here? What's a good one? Perfect. Here's an alley. Random alley map. Let's use it. Okay. Hey, look at that very black screen that no one can see. Kaz and Thomas. There you are on the map.
On the
Beautiful
way there,
people,
Thomas is just casually being like, "Now, are you quite sure about this? Are you sure? We can turn around. We can go home. We can find another way."
I'm sure we could find another way, but I'm going to beat the tar out of these men.
Oh, we're not murdering anyone tonight.
No, that's not my intention.
Oh, I should have prayed before we left.
If anything, Thomas, if you don't want to associate yourself with this, I would understand.
No, I'm not going to let you get ganged up on in some dark alley somewhere. It's not going to happen.
Understandable. Very well. And on the way there, Kaz will cast Disguise Self on herself. And just gonna look like an average Joe Schmo, completely plain features of probably a guy with brown hair, brown eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Not random.
Not random. Okay. So you head to the neighborhood where Mercury tracked these thugs before. And Mercury, sort of landing on your shoulder, Thomas looks around and says, "It's that door, boss. It's that one."
What are we going to do if his grandmother opens it?
Politely ask her to leave.
Oh, my. After you.
Okay. Gonna go up to the door
Mhm.
and knock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You hear laughter from inside. Group of men laughing.
And no one comes, no one's coming over to open the door?
Nope.
Okay. This time I'm going to bang on the door.
Yeah, and someone comes over and pops the door open and looks at you. He says, "Huh, you're not the... Where's the food?"
Not here to give you food. Just had a few
Wh-
questions.
Wait, you're not the pry-in delivery guy?
No.
But we ordered.
I'm gonna try and look past him to see how many people are inside.
Yeah, so there's like an entryway to the room, and then there's like another door that makes it a little bit hard to see in exactly. There's like a foyer and then like a living room that looks like they're hanging out and sitting on a couch. There's like a table in front of them. There are half cards and there's some chips on the table.
No, I'm not here.
Chips is in
to
poker,
deliver
not as in food.
Right. Not those kind of chips. Okay.
Okay, then. Well, what you? It's a little late for a house call. It's 10 o'clock, and no offense, but you're a little skinny for me.
No, from the shadows, no murders tonight.
Shove my way inside of this room.
Yeah, so he stands. Whoa! Stop there! And roll a contested athletics check.
Oh boy. No, a 10.
Oh.
4. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. So you shove inside, and he's like, "Hey guys, get your stuff. I don't know who this is." As like you power through the door, and Thomas is just sort of standing outside.
No, he turns into his younger female form, and he runs in after her if the way's been cleared.
Absolutely, yeah. You can shove past this guy. Yeah, you see 4 guys, and not including the guy who was at the door. And in sort of the corner of the room, there is a woman. Their age, not like an old woman, but like a woman, and she seems to be like knitting something or sitting in a chair, sort of
an
keeping an eye on
old
them. There's a
woman?
lot of booze. No, young. Their age.
Okay.
Maybe a little younger than them, but seems to be knitting something. They've all got drinks. There's like stains everywhere. This is clearly like a hangout spot. Roll a perception check for me, Nia. Ghost. Yeah, caused.
An 18. Natural
20, 18. I'll take it. Yeah. They're squatting here. They probably all have other places that they live. This is definitely not their home.
Okay.
You're quite comfortable looking around and saying, yeah, no one lives here. These are people just hanging here. Who knows if this was someone else's house at some point.
Okay. As I go inside, I'm gonna, before I turn the corner, gonna turn to that guy, and I'm going to cast command and tell him, grovel.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, that's a wisdom saving throw. Is that right?
Yeah.
I love this.
Okay, I roll. I get a 7.
Ooh, it's not gonna make it. It's not gonna cut it.
Yeah, so he immediately falls to the ground and starts groveling. He's like, you are so great and wonderful. You awesome. person. What am I doing? I don't even know, but you are amazing in every fine quality. This is the most stunning thing I've ever... Right, just a little over the top, but he's groveling.
Okay. Then I'm going to look into the room with the other people inside. See if I've got their attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they look stunned and confused. Some of them are looking agape at the guy groveling at you. Others are looking at you. One of them has like reached the side and is like grabbing a chair leg that's like broken off a chair and like is like getting ready to use it as a club. Like they're all they're more confused than anything though.
Now, fellas, I hate to have interrupted your night, but I was wondering, any of you fine folk run into a fox folk recently?
What?
Did any of you happen to beat the living shit out of a defenseless fox folk?
Defenseless? Fucker invaded our city.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't belong here.
That wasn't my question.
I see it, he was the aggressor. I didn't beat him up. I was defending myself.
Uh-huh. You were defending yourself against him. So you did do it. That was the question I was asking.
Yeah? What's it to you?
I'm going to use my radiant consumption ability.
Okay.
And just a divine bright light just pours out of each of this guy's eyes and his mouth. And if any of them are near me, probably hurt a bit. Hopefully Thomas isn't. Sorry, Thomas, if you are.
Okay. Radiant Thomas is right behind you. Yeah, what's the radius on this?
Oh, right. 10 feet.
Ooh.
Yeah, Thomas is definitely there.
Does
sorry,
it
is
look
it near
like
him
you're
or near
doing
you?
something?
And can you click on the ability for me so I can see it in chat?
Yeah.
I just don't know it.
Does it look like you're casting or doing something?
Oh boy.
Yes, all spells look like you're casting and doing something.
It's not posting it, but I'll just copy and paste it.
Okay. Thank you. Starting at 3rd level, you can use your action to unleash a divine energy within yourself, causing a searing light to radiate from you, pour out of your eyes and mouth, threaten to character near you. Your transformation lasts for 1 minute or until you bubble. During, you should bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for an additional 10 feet. At the end of each of your turns, you and each creature within 10 feet of you take radiant damage equal to half your level rounded up. Excellent.
So
in addition, once
each
of your turn,
yeah,
extra radiant damage deal target. Awesome. That's great. So your like divine light is just searing these people. Their flesh starts to literally burn in front of you. How much damage is it doing per turn?
3. Just 3.
Okay. I'm just going to start with that off on all of them. They're pretty big guys. The girl in the back of the room screams and runs to the other room. There's sort of like a further further back room. Okay. Yeah. She'll make a saving throw.
Let me get the page.
She gets a 12. I'm pretty sure that fails.
I'm pretty sure it does because it should be charisma based, but 1 second. I should have my spells loaded in here. I really should have.
No worries. I got it. It fails. I know it fails.
Okay.
You'd have to be remarkably weak for that to fail. For that to succeed. Yeah. So she's stuck back there. She's paralyzed. She's outside the radius of the radiant damage, but she's still there. I think we should roll initiative though. That feels an appropriate time to roll initiative. The one of them is armed with his club, but the rest of them need to grab their weapons their first turn. So let's see what happens. I think the groveling guy is still groveling too. I'll give you one more round on that. But there are still 5 of them to one of you and the girl.
Oh boy.
Well, it's a 2 of you, I should say. 13. Thomas, are you getting on this?
Yep. 1 second. I'm so sorry. I was looking at spell stats.
No worries. Nice. Okay. Thomas, do you want to go before or after the thugs? It's your call.
I'll go before because I've been pretty ready for stuff to break bad.
Excellent. Great. Kaz, you're up first. What do you want to do?
Sweet. I'm going to take out my shield and my sword, and I'm going to attack him.
Great.
Nice.
Yeah, attack him.
Natural 20.
Okay, yeah. Let's roll damage on that. Obviously that hits. 14 plus 5, that's 19 damage. Do you want to pump in a Divine Smite?
I do.
No
I'm going
murder.
to do that for sure.
Okay. It is also doubled because of your crit.
Let me mark off that spell slot.
9 more damage. That is 28 damage. Okay. And this guy is barely standing.
He's barely standing. Okay.
I'll just flat out tell you. He's at 1 hit point and is going to take 3 damage at the start of his next turn because of your radiant stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to move on to the next guy for my extra attack.
Great, do it.
Oh boy, where is it? There it is. 27.
That hits. Roll damage. 13 damage. Do you want to pump in a Divine Smite?
You know what? I am. Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Just 1d8, 5.
Nice.
Another
Beautiful.
Spell slot. Okay.
Excellent. Thomas, that makes it your turn.
I honestly forget if I left Mercury with Blackberry in them. I feel like, if possible, I would have brought Mercury.
You have Mercury with you.
Okay.
Mercury pointed out the door to you.
Yeah. Whole person is concentration. He's going to turn to Mercury and say, keep an eye out for the watch, would you?
Mercury says, got it, boss, and flies out the door.
And I'm looking up if this Archfey effect is technically a spell.
It is not.
No, once per short rest as an action. Okay. Okay, I'm going to use Fey Presence.
Okay.
Each creature in a 10-foot cube from me. I don't know if I'm able to exclude Kaz.
Sure. I think you can exclude Kaz.
Okay. For the first time, he's going to try to cause them to become charmed versus frightened. Okay. And he's going to smile at them and say, don't you want to put your weapons down?
To the thugs? Okay. What's the saving throw?
It is a DC 15 Wisdom.
Okay. That's 3 of them. It hits. I get a 16, a 13, which is a failure, and a... I just realized that my rolls are not going to you guys. They should be going to you guys. I apologize. There's a setting on that I need to change. No big deal. I get 2 failures and 1 success.
Okay. So that should last until the end of my next turn.
Yep. So those 2 will be essentially stunned by you, or charmed by you, rather. Yeah, they're charmed.
Think I'm great. Yeah. Well, I should cast it all the groveling. I work hard.
I'll give them little heart emojis. Yeah. Okay, it is the thug's turn. First of all, the one that is in front of you, Kaz, immediately takes 3 damage and falls unconscious. Another one takes 3 damage. Another one takes another 3 damage. And the last one takes another 3 damage. And then the groveler, who's still groveling, but will cease to grovel at the end of this turn, takes 3 more damage. And the only one who can do anything charges towards you, Kaz, and tries to attack you.
Okay.
Bam. Oh, I haven't changed the settings. 15 to hit. I assume that misses.
15
and
does not.
a 11 to hit. I assume that also misses because 15 missed. Yeah, so comes charging towards you and just like thwacks you with a chair leg. But he's like expecting you to be like this tiny person, this skinny person that you have put a facade on, he does not recognize that you are actually wearing heavy armor. And so he slams the chair leg into you, expecting it to just break your bones. But instead, like, it just ricochets off your powerful metal armor and looks totally confused. Kaz, that makes it your turn.
Sweet. I'm gonna go. So how does the other guy look? The one that I was attacking, the one who's not unconscious.
In bad shape.
In bad shape.
Also
Okay.
technically charmed.
Okay, then I'm gonna go for the one who attacked me.
Mhm.
A natural 20.
Another natural 20.
Oh God! Oh God! We said no murder.
no divine smite in this one. But
Okay, 19 more damage. Fine. Okay, fair enough.
oh God.
Also not looking hot anymore.
But he's still standing, so I'm gonna hit him again.
Take him out.
Oh my
Roll
God.
damage.
Kaz.
And another
okay, I can
unconscious
heal.
body on the floor. Okay. Thomas. Oh, actually, sorry, one quick thing. Okay, she fails to break free of the hold person spell. Thomas, it is your turn.
Okay. He's kind of just wincing. Like nothing has really happened to Kaz yet. He's not going to let anybody go run for help, but I guess he's going to. Let's see. I guess I'll have him hold a lightning lure in case somebody makes a break for the door, and he's going to try to lasso them.
I love it. That's great. Okay. Well, the thugs are no longer charmed. Is that correct?
Yes, it lasts until the end of this turn, so it's done.
Okay. Yeah, but they do both take 3 damage immediately, or all 3 take 3 damage immediately. And the first one comes to attack you. What is their mod? I'm just gonna roll it. Gets an 8 to hit. And a 20 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. Four damage.
Okay. Ouch.
Okay. The other one is going to move in and step on the unconscious body of his friend, breaking some fingers, and attempt to slash you. They have pack tackets, so these attacks are at advantage.
Okay.
So that makes it, because of course the bullies have pack tackets. That's a 21 to hit for the first attack.
Yeah, that hits.
And a 21 to hit for the second attack.
Yeah, that hits too.
Okay, so that's 2d6 plus 4. So that's a total of 15 points of damage.
Okay.
As he slashes at you with his thing. Hey, it's some kind of illusion! And then the third one, who is behind you guys, who was groveling a second ago, does make a run for it. And Thomas, that triggers your lightning lure spell.
Yep,
Like
it
to cast
does.
that.
Let me. I think I put it in Roll20. I think I was a good spellcaster person about this one.
Who knows?
Yeah, I did.
Let's see it.
So I'm just gonna click on it. That one does it. Did I click on that?
No.
That's not. No, that just tells me what it is. Where do I click to cast
It's a
it?
strength saving throw. It tells me what I need.
Oh,
I got it.
okay.
I can set it up better for you later. But he gets a 10. I assume that's a failure against your spell save DC.
Yes.
Great. Then roll 2d8.
Oh God.
This is your 5th level, right? Or above?
Yep.
Cool.
I'm at 6th level.
Nice.
Eh.
4
Just zap him
damage.
a little.
Mm-hmm.
Is his hair standing up?
Yes. So he gets pulled back physically into the room. He's trying to escape. He like falls down onto his face, and like the lightning lasso just sort of lassos around him as he's like trying to run forward. It like pulls him back, and he's like, "Ah!" And his hair starts standing up on end. Kaz, that makes it your turn.
Okay. Going to attack the guy in front of me.
Take him out.
28.
28. Okay. Obviously that hits.
12.
Okay. He's still
Then-
standing.
Still
Not
standing.
looking good,
okay.
though.
Then I will hit him again. 26. Man,
At
I'm
26,
good.
that also still hits. Yeah.
Another 12.
And that knocks him out.
Oh my god.
God, the fury is real.
This is
Um,
intense.
Yeah. So Kaz, how does it feel right now?
She's they're in a complete blind rage, just slashing left and right. When she got hit last round, I don't think she even blinked. Just pure white hot rage for everything, really.
Did she like being hit? Did it justify it to her?
It was a bit of a rush. So, I think it would feel good in a way.
Is there clarity in this moment for you?
I don't think clarity is the word I would use. I think it's just a breaking point that was probably coming for a while now. And it's just
So I
kind
have
of
to ask
all
So I have to ask then, Kaz, are you in control?
I don't know.
Okay. What do you think are the chances that one of these people that you intended to knock unconscious, you're using a sword? What are the chances that you screwed up, that you nipped an artery, that you did something and executed one of these people?
It's completely likely. Just not paying. Her strikes are not careful, even though she's not meaning to be make lethal strikes. I don't think she's not in the state of mind to make careful, precise strikes.
Thomas, what are you doing?
Um,
There's a thug at your feet.
yes. Is he still prone? Are they still prone?
Yeah, he's prone at your feet.
Okay.
Thomas, can you roll a perception check for me?
I was gonna say, what do the folks on the ground look like? So that suits. Oh my god. Oh Jesus, that's a nat 1.
Oh no.
And it's still a 6.
Then you know what you see, Thomas? This punk has a fresh tattoo. It's a tattoo of that same stylized tree with a cross through it.
Okay. Can I Okay, that was a perception check on the people on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if anyone's alive or dead right now with that fail.
No.
Okay.
You know that this person's alive, and they got a tattoo to celebrate their beating up of a friend of yours.
He's going to say, "You'll thank me for this when you're my age." And he is going to reach down and try to pump the energy of a lightning lure into skin level over that tattoo and burn it.
Yeah, you just have him at your mercy. Can you just roll 2d8 for me?
Mm-hmm. Oh, now I roll high. Now I can't do 4 damage when I want it to not hurt someone. You lame sauce.
He screams in agony as you do this.
Yeah.
And passes out at your feet.
Instant regret. Instant. God, what have we done?
His arm just has this black, burnt, crisp mask on it.
Oh my god.
Kazan, we have to get out of here.
I'm not done.
We have to get out of here now. This has gone too far. They've learned their lesson.
The thug smacks you, Kazan. The only one remaining.
Don't.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Kaz, that's a natural 20.
What the fudge?
7 points of damage, Kaz, as this massive mace just conks you on the head.
Ugh.
It's your turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit this guy, and I'm gonna hit him real good.
Oh my god.
Oh my god! No, natural 1.
Why do you miss?
Oh, just there's blood in my eyes. Can't see.
Thomas, would you have tried to stop Kaz?
If it had been my turn, I would have probably tried to charm person on Kaz.
You wouldn't have tried to grab Kaz, though? Just instinctively?
Yeah, I would have been grabbing her shoulder, and honestly, I think it's a touch spell anyway. No, it's not. It's a distance spell. They're close enough. He would have been like pulling on her shoulder, like, we have to go.
So I think, Kaz, you feel Thomas's hand on your shoulder, and that's what causes the nat 1. Like, he's trying to pull you away, and it causes your swing to just go wild. But you then just roll your shoulder and get Thomas's hand off it and take a second swing.
Yeah. So does a 20 hit?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna put a 2nd level Divine Smite into this.
Okay.
So that would be 3d8, which I will roll. Dang, that was not good. Plus 16.
Okay. All of the thugs in the room are down. There's still the one who tried to run away earlier out the back, still under the effects of a hold person spell.
Thomas crosses to her and pushes his herbalist kit into her hands. Says, pull the watch, do what you can. We're going now.
Kaz, do you leave?
Looking at the girl, and I say, did you have anything to do with this?
No, nothing. I didn't even know. It's just Mom told my brother to look after me. He told me to meet me here, and I meet him here, and I met them here. I didn't know I don't know what happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
We're going.
Do I believe her?
Roll an insight check.
13.
She seems young and scared. Her lips are quivering.
Okay. Fine. Your brother's not a good person, and neither are any of these men here.
Yeah, okay, whatever you say.
And you let them know that if they come near that foxfolk, or any foxfolk for that matter, I will know. And if this didn't do the job, I will make sure to come back and do the job. For good.
She's just like crying in the corner of the room, trying to stay as far away from your divine light as possible.
Just gonna take one look around the room to make sure everyone's down and walk out.
Yeah, we're power walking.
Faye, I'm very sorry to say that we haven't gotten to Juniper's scene yet.
That's okay.
But I think we need to take a break at this moment.
Oh my god, that was intense and great.
Fucking knew that was gonna be.
We'll be
all
back
that.
in about 10 minutes, everyone. Thank you so much for watching.
Oh my god.
child, welcome back. I hope that you feel okay. Sometimes RPGs get intense. I think that's part of the point, and I kind of love it. But yeah, we're all good over here. Hopefully you are all good over there and all that good stuff. If you enjoy the sorts of things that we do here, that's great. I'm really happy that you do. You should throw us a follow or a subscription. Also, you should check out some of our other content. We currently are running 4 games on this stream, soon to be more than that, of course, because we're always growing and expanding and all that good stuff. Right now, I am running 4 games on the stream. One of them is the one that you are currently watching, the Assassination of Primarch, Magli, Blackice. On Thursday mornings at 10:30, we do a sort of old school style dungeon crawl. It's a 5th edition game, but it is sort of OSR themed and or inspired. The Lost Tomb of Akarut. We climb through dungeons, we deal with traps, sometimes we get captured by evil corporations. That's not very old school, but it is what happens. And we hate someone passionately named Hubert Songshore. And if you don't hate Hubert Songshore, then you should go over to that stream and you will hate Hubert Songshore. Maybe not as much, but almost as much as you hate Primarch, Magli, Blackice, because villains, man, they suck. On Fridays, we have I would call it lighter fare, but it is not at all lighter fare. We are running a weekly game of Monster Hearts. If you've never played Monster Hearts, it's about teen romance and teen problems and teen issues that are exacerbated by the fact that all of the characters are monsters. Yes, all monsters. Yes, a vampire, a werewolf, a ghost, and a fae creature all go to high school together, and chaos ensues, and everyone causes misery for everyone. And it's great. I love it. And then on Sundays, we have a brand new game. What? I know, so many games. Also set in the Shimmering Seas area. This is one that features cool new players. It was supposed to be a local game for me. It was supposed to be actually originally an all-music teacher local game for me. But quarantine has happened, and so we're doing it online, and that means it's easier for us to stream it to you guys anyway. So yay, all good things. Yeah, and that's happening, and a lot of fun. And I don't know. Yeah, good stuff. Come check out our shows. We have a schedule that you can check out. I will not say it because I'm bad at it, but I'm sure it's around. Yes, Hubert Songshore is the worst. Thank you, Spicy Curry Breath, for reminding everyone in chat that Hubert Songshore is the worst, because we hate him. Back to it. So, while Kaz and Thomas are off murdering people, sorry, I'm sorry, sir. I had
manslaughtering people.
Okay. Juniper, where are you? We know that Salwin's having the fanciest dinner of his life. Where are you?
Well, I am settling down with, I've already had my tea because I don't want to put it near the books. I have all my notes here. I have the nice book here, and I'm having my comfort zone. I know, riveting D&D, but I'm going to go ahead and start studying to try to find a little bit of information about Salin. You know, I'm feeling still bad from the day, but I'm in my zone.
You're in your zone. Excellent.
Yes.
Well, let's start this with a die roll.
Okay.
You are trying to read a textbook. Depending on what die you decide to roll here, you will warrant different types of information. If you would like to roll a religion check, you'll get religion of ancient creatures that you're trying to read about. If you get an arcana check, you'll get like magic of these things. If you do history, you'll get history of these things. If you do nature, you'll get confusion. But pick any die roll you want, whatever you think seems appropriate at this point. And then depending on your die roll, you can ask questions about these things, and I will answer said questions.
Gotcha. And now, we did roll something like that before. Are we not going to use that? This will be a different die roll?
This is a different die roll.
Okay. All right. So in this case, I'm looking for something that would help Salin. Would it be possible for me to use my inspiration, having been inspired by him?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I feel like that would be apt.
Of course. I approve.
Okay, so I'm going to click Arcana. Oh, well, I didn't need that. Oh, well, it's there.
Do you want to use your inspiration?
Well, I already rolled, so I don't want to take it away after I've already rolled. That would be wrong.
Fair enough. 19. Let's do 2 questions. Any questions that you want to ask, I will answer.
Okay. In this book, is there, oh, and I had questions too. Oh, I don't remember them. Okay, so in this book, is there information about communication with not necessarily extraplanar creatures, but like basically information about conduits and how they can interact with these beings, like different manners of interaction. I think Juno in particular is thinking about, she's been considering coming up with a test where they actually go into the ocean and have like people holding Samhain so that he can actually interact inside the ocean itself. She's kind of wondering if that might heighten it or something. So,
Yeah.
Different forms of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. So communication with conduits is a dangerous thing and a scary thing, and it makes people uncomfortable. And so people sort of talk about it, even in the context of books, in sort of a obtuse way in some format. That being said, our wonderful author, whose name I have here, I remember, Malakind. Malakind. Malakind does list 10 different rituals that one can use, 8 of which are specifically targeted towards certain types of otherworldly beings that you want to make sort of a safe conduit for, and 2 which are sort of generic protection, sort of high-level abjuration type magics that would help protect someone from being injured in any way, shape, or form. Beyond that, he has sort of advice that if you're trying to seek out a particular type of entity, things that entity responds to, anything that you know about that entity should be incorporated into a ritual to help sort of gather materials. There is also an extended passage where he talks about the potency of certain magical regents, things that you are familiar with. Earth's Blood and Soulwood being 2 most common ones. That can be utilized in rituals of this fashion to emphasize and make the results more effective.
Okay. Sorry, I'm making notes.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And so is Juno.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, no, she's particularly interested in that Earth's Blood and Soulwood thing. And
among other magical regions, not just those.
Yeah, of course. And she also, because the last Lord dump we did, does she know that information that we talked about then?
Yes.
Okay, so she already kind of has an idea of what might be under there, what might be chained.
Yep. We did a little Lord dump off screen for the audience. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, guys. So since she kind of has an idea or suspicion, anyways, maybe I don't know, like this book was led to her like from a footnote about these kind of gods. Would there be anything more about the way that those gods were bound, or not those gods, but those creatures were bound?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The means of binding them.
Yes, there would. So I think what happens at this point is Stepwise enters into the room.
Oh.
Just to interrupt you for a second, then we'll go back to your Lord dump. And says, I see you're getting started on Malakind's work.
Oh, yes. And how much time has passed? She wouldn't know.
Couple hours.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm getting somewhere.
I always found his writing to be a bit of a bore, honestly. But if you can make heads or tails of it, that's probably a good thing. Use it to help your friend.
Yeah. No, I would really like to. They're a good person. How are you doing?
How old are you, Juno?
Is she asking me that, or?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really know.
But young.
Well, yeah, I think I remember before I was with you, I remember remembering being cold. So I think there was at least a year.
Anyway, you are too young to spend all your time cooped up in this library. It's fine for now, but you should go to like a space, a coffee house, or a tea shop, or even just the library itself. Somewhere that you're not just you're alone in this room all hours of the night and all hours of the day. And you should go out and be.
Oh.
I apologize. I
No,
overstepped.
no. You're right. I have been kind of hiding a little bit. Yeah, that might be a good idea. I might need to go out. Also, I'm totally taking up your desk, aren't I?
No, it's quite all right. I haven't been able to sit there as much as I'd like lately.
Oh. Well, speaking of, real quick, she just wants to cover the whole, like, So live-in task writing schedule making assistant, huh?
Won't pay much, but it's something, and it gives you a reason to be here when you can be here, and you can go out when you need to go out.
Well,
not that I wouldn't mind having you as an assistant, but I imagine that you have other interests to keep your time occupied.
Well, yes, that's true, but also I wouldn't mind helping out.
Well, I've requisitioned some funds so I can pay you. That'll at least keep you in house and home. Although, of course, you're welcome to stay here if you so desire.
Oh, well, I mean, she's like, oh God. Well, I guess I should, at least for the sake of things, for a while, because, did say live in, so it'd be weird if I wasn't seen around.
Quite right.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, listen to me here, Juniper.
Yes?
No talking to the press.
No talking to the press.
Don't say anything to them.
Okay, yep.
They ask you questions, you pretend you cannot see them.
Okay.
If they press you too much, you have an invisibility spell?
I do.
Use it and walk away.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
All right.
My life is not their business. Your life is not their business. It is my job to talk to the press.
Got it.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I'm
going to go to bed, but you should feel free to continue studying. I sleep through anything. But the guest bedroom is available if you'd like it. I had a guest for a while, but she's gone.
Oh, well, thank you. I'll who? You had a guest?
Yes, just some friend of the Primarchs.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have.
I barely noticed she was here.
Yeah. Well, you go to bed. I might actually go out and get some coffee so I can know what time it is every now and then while I study.
Yes, at the very least, they'll kick you out at closing time, and that'll give you a cue to move. Stretch your legs a little.
You might know me too well. All right, so she's gonna close the book, gather up her notes, pop it in her bag, and say goodnight.
Good night. And she goes down and goes to bed.
All right, so she definitely feels a little bit better after that, and is just gonna pop downstairs, open the door into the nice darkened sky.
Quite late.
Quite light? It's still light? Okay,
it's
good.
late. Quite late.
Late, yeah. And she's gonna find a nice place to get some coffee to get that energy going and go back to studying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not that she isn't curious about who that person was.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's like a 24-hour coffee place. It's actually not far from here. Mela sort of lives near this famous place called the Lighthouse. It was a lighthouse, but now has been converted into a massive bookstore / all-night coffee house.
Oh my God.
And it's very popular with students who are studying for exams and things like that, but it's also sort of become popular with locals a little bit too.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's quite nice.
This is great. Yeah. So while the murderating's happening, Juno's getting herself some tea, like some matcha, and like a matcha shot, and is gonna sit down with a book and go back to studying.
Yeah. Okay. So to answer your question, it was a so you're looking for binding things. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that's written here is vague. There's not a lot of clarity. This all happened long before Malachine's time. And so like the research into communicating with these things, he's very solid on. The history of what happened to them is a little bit weirder. But he talks about a time that he refers to as the binding, or sometimes also referred to as the Great Collapse. But it predates Tawan. So it's very old. It's like 6,000-7,000 years ago. And a bunch of groups of people, theoretically Chelestrans and Prions and various organizations, worshipped these things as gods, but other groups of these people, other Prions, other Chelestrans, other whatever, would actually counteract that with their own belief and their own entities, and would practice massive rituals, rituals that include hundreds upon hundreds of people getting together and chanting in unison and casting spells. Now, Malachine is very skeptical of a lot of the stuff. He is like, this is like a lot of the stuff. He like quotes a lot of other historical sources, some which you might be able to find later and things like that. He references, but he points out that, well, this historical source is prone to exaggeration when it comes to these sorts of things, and we don't really have a lot of written records from this time. And so it's, you know, so it's not that he doesn't believe it. He's just like very careful to state like that he doesn't know what happened.
Okay. Well, I have to admit, Gina's a little curious on that one then, because like, you know, she was kind of warned away from this book at first, but it seems like everything's very like careful and measured, and you know, take everything with a grain of salt. I know I asked those questions, but you know, is it okay if she just like explores a little in the book?
Yeah.
Would that be too much?
No, of course, you explore a little in the book. So you're in this all-night coffee house / bookstore / tea house, the Lighthouse, and an elf with dark hair and darker complexion walks over and looks at you and says, "Malachines? Jeez, you don't read light, do you?"
Oh, she's a little startled because she was just, you know, in the zone, and looks up and goes, "Well, I'm making a little sense of it. It's not so bad."
Well, you are a sharper mind by far than many. Very few can dive into a book that dense, or an author that I don't know what the word is. Well, many find him obtuse.
A little verbose.
Yes. I apologize for disturbing you, but as you can see, there's no seats empty. Do you mind if I join you for a little bit?
Oh, sure, yeah. And she's gonna like gather up some of her notes and reorganize them a little bit so there's actually space, because she had it the whole table.
He sits down and he smiles at you and he says, "So, why Malachines?"
Well, I'm interested in, I guess you would call it theoretical magical history.
And you never find that it's just not practical or anything like that? I find practicality is often overrated, but I myself have often been accused of not being practical.
Well, I think that you can find practical applications in something that in history, and something that most considered to be theoretical. What kind of? I'm assuming you're a student of the arcane.
Oh yes, quite right. I yes, I Well, I've left school. I don't really spend time at any of the towers anymore, but I'm still doing a little bit of research. I moved here to Chalestra because I like the sea. Reminds me of school.
Oh, so which tower were you at?
Oh, the Spire of Discovery out on over the ocean, just a little ways that way on one of the islands.
Oh, that's okay. I've heard of that one, but and she's just kind of like, okay.
I apologize, my manners. Sorry. Your name, if I might inquire.
Yes, Juno. Juniper.
Juno. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Alan.
Alan. Is that like Alan, like
No, A-L-A-M.
A-L-A-M. Ah, Alan. Well, nice to meet you. I also studied in the tower for a little while.
Yes, which one?
The Tranquility. So
yes.
I also left that one.
Yes, in the east, right?
Yes. Yeah. I find you can learn a lot more on your own sometimes, depending.
Boy, have I found that to be true. Sometimes the rigors of an institution, it's not so much designed to help you learn, so much as to bore the shit out of you.
Well, I wasn't in long enough to really get too bored. But what kind of if it's okay to ask, what school of magic are you focusing on?
Oh, abjuration, protection, helping people stay safe and things like that. It's just something that I have a passing interest in. No one can really hurt from a little bit of protection. To make money, I enchant small little charms to help people on their days and things like that. But abjuration is where my interest lies. People should be safe, and people should feel safe, and I like making them feel safe.
Well, that's very nice. That's a good gosh, I can't do words either. It's very late. Well, so that's an honorable task you've set for yourself. Personally, I'm interested in illusion magic, but recently I've been looking into this, and I kind of gesture to the book.
Yes, I can tell. Illusion magic. Do you do it with the purpose of trickery or the purpose of revealing the truth?
Oh, well, I know that people think that foxfolk are going to be kind of tricksters by nature, but no, I'd go with the latter more than anything.
Yes, I'm not familiar with many foxfolk. Can you tell me much about your people?
Insight check.
Yeah, roll an insight check.
It's fucking weird.
I'm curious about this guy. I'm like, what is he? Is this a spy? Is this like?
Yeah, roll an insight check.
Okay.
I have secretly rolled.
I can't do inspiration.
No, I've
already used my inspiration.
Yep.
So that's a 14.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, he seems genuinely nice and interested. He's been. I think you notice immediately that he has been remarkably polite every step of the way. His distance from you is very carefully measured. He's very carefully not encroaching on your space. There's no overt or anything. Like, he's not expressing attraction. He's not really flirting with you. He's just being nice. And he seems genuine. I think actually with a 14, you'll notice that between you and him is exactly 2 feet 3 inches. From the way that he positioned his chair, which is exactly the distance that a lady of quality recommends when you sit down at a table with a stranger.
Oh my god. Oh wow. Okay. That's something. Juno's brows are like, what? Okay. So he seems actually genuinely interested in magic. Okay. Yeah, well, she's gonna. What was the last question he had for her about the foxfolk? Well, to be honest, I was raised by I was not raised in the foxfolk culture, so I don't really know that much about us outside of, what other people think.
How excellent! It's
excellent.
Really, isn't it interesting to be? I don't know. I find there's some interest in being like a semi-outsider to a culture. There's so much that you can learn. Seeing Chalestra right now. When I myself am from I'm from Abarak originally, but seeing Chalestra right now, it's just an interesting thing. And even in Abarak, I'm an elf in Abarak. How many elves in Abarak are there? Not many of us. I can ascertain that, but it's just that it's an interesting time to be alive. There's much to learn about the world.
Well, that's certainly true.
If you don't mind, I have a question, and I want to preface this with an apology. Normally, I wouldn't ask a question that's this forward, but I'm a little uncertain of myself, and I don't know if this is an offensive question. If it is an offensive question, please, I retract it immediately and express my humblest of apologies.
Okay.
Is it common for foxfolk to have 3 tails?
Oh no, that's not offensive. Normally no. But it's a sign of how far you've come in your magic, usually.
Oh, interesting. So you can cast spells of the 3rd order.
Oh yes, I can.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, that's such a cool thing to learn. I'm gonna do some research on this. I'm gonna see if they have a book on foxfolk culture, history, everything. I'm sorry, I've never met one before, and it's quite curious.
Oh, well, it's nice to meet someone who immediately wants to educate themselves. I admit I got a little distracted by my own studies and never really looked too much into it.
Well, Malakind will warp your mind a little if you stick with him too much.
Warp your mind how?
Oh,
you
God.
read him before?
I've read some of his works. I haven't read, this one in its entirety, not from beginning to end, of course. It's not exactly a common find. I'm surprised that you have it. It's a expensive book to get, as I'm sure you know. But yeah, no, I've read some of his works. He was an abjuration wizard, much like myself, and so protection magic was sort of his jam as well.
Oh,
back in the day. So he has a basics for beginners book that I honestly, and I say this with all due affection, but given my druthers, I would rip it into shreds and never let anyone study it ever again, just because of how many times my teachers beat me with it.
Yeah, I've read books like that before. Well, this is also new to me, the abjuration magic anyways. So it could just be that I'm being biased and this being the first book on it that I've actually read. But I have actually been pretty interested in protection spells. Particularly ones that are used in rituals to make sure that no outside influences, get in.
Yes, absolutely. Don't want any dangerous entities coming across from the other side of the firmament or the other side of the covering or wherever else they may be locked up.
Well, if you ever have the time, I'd definitely like to pick your brain on it.
Oh, of course, happily. But I must admit, it's getting a little late for me. I must retire soon. Perhaps later this week we can meet here?
Sure.
I study here most days, so you can find me when you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And he looks at his tea. It's mostly done now, and he sips it, puts it down, and looks up at you and says, "Well, Juno, it was a pleasure to meet you." And he stands up, offers his hand to your paw to shake it.
I'll shake it.
He then steps back and bows slightly to you, and takes his tray over and busses it himself.
Okay. That was a thing that happened. Juno's not had a study partner before, so this is actually a little exciting for her. She's still a little bit anxious about the fact that he was like so outwardly friendly, because it's like, wait, what? Hold on. But yeah, she's feeling a little better. She went from having a really bad experience with her friends to kind of tentatively making a friend. So I think this has been a good day for Juno.
Okay, there you go.
But yeah, I think she'll probably head home too. Well, not home, but she'll head to Mellowstick's place. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. Let's jump forward. Samhain, do you have a scene you want to have?
Is it the same night?
It can be whatever time you'd like. There's a part of me that would like to push forward to the next day, but I don't want to. But I don't feel a huge.
Yeah,
rush.
no. If it's my scene can wait till the next day because I think
Does anyone have any scenes that they feel need to happen this night? Okay, then we're pushing to the next day. Okay, so everyone gets a full night's rest. Everyone regains any hit points and spell slots, all that stuff. Take your long rest and all that good stuff, guys.
Oh, I had a quick question.
Go for it.
About my dinner. So I had non-detection on me. Did that affect whether or not someone knew my name at that restaurant?
It did not affect whether or not someone knew your name at the restaurant, but I will be very candid. It does affect, they do not bring the water to you without you requesting it. I apologize for a lack of clarity.
Okay, but they still knew my full name when I entered the restaurant. Oh.
Yes.
Okie dokie artichoke.
But they do not deliver water to you unasked.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay. So morning comes. It's dawn, and red rays sort of pierce the sky. It's a bright and sharp-colored sunrise across the land. It'll set over the ocean, of course, because we are on the western coast. Let's check in with Kaz. Kaz, how are you feeling this morning?
Oh, boy. Well, I guess right after that happened, Kaz immediately parted ways with Thomas, and I think she just went to sleep, straight to bed, because she had a level of exhaustion. Probably gets up pretty early in the morning. And I think she's gonna go and honestly, I think she's gonna go and have a drink.
Booze in the morning?
Yep.
Okay. Do you go somewhere nice? Do you go somewhere casual? Do you go somewhere cheap?
Somewhere
what are you looking for here?
Somewhere cheap and nondescript. She's gonna go in her armor, but she's gonna have her head and stuff covered.
Okay. You go and have a drink. No one hassles you.
Yeah. Just the singular drink. And then I know that before the party, before the ball, she did agree to have a meeting with, attend one of the meetings with the Night Watch. I think that was 2 days after the ball.
We can do it now, though.
Okay.
If you'd like. Just we can fudge with time. I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah, okay.
That's my purpose.
She probably spends the rest of the day moping anyways, so.
Sound good.
Yeah, she's going to then use disguise self for her Kamala disguise. Head to the meeting spot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, the meeting place that you go to, it's a bar, and it's not hidden at all. It's sort of near the cop place, but it's not in the cop place. It's a frequent cop bar, but it says closed for private event in front of it, or closed without invitation. And you are brought in, and you see some people that you expect to see. A bunch of mostly cops, all wearing this Night Watch thing, but there's a bunch of other people too. There's a bunch of citizens there, and they're all wearing this Night Watch logo. And let's see. I remember this person's name, right? I don't remember this person's name. Do you remember this person's name?
The leader?
Yes.
Oscar is what I have written.
Oscar, thank you. That is totally his name.
Okay.
There it is, under Oscar. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. So Oscar is standing in front of the room, sort of joking with one of his friends, and he's got the Night Watch armband on, but he's not wearing a shirt.
Mhm.
He's just like stripped down so that his bare chest is there. And he just like it's a kind of a commanding presence, right? He looks conventionally attractive, and people are just definitely like paying attention. A lot of people are sitting there, and you show up, and he like jogs lightly over to you, and you can see these glistening a little, like he just did a workout or something like that. There's light sweat on him, and he just reaches forward and says, "Hey," and reaches out to take your hand.
Take his hand.
And pulls you into his chest and pats you on the back.
Oh, okay.
My brother, I'm so glad you came to our meeting.
Yeah. I said I'd be here.
Yeah. Well, I think you're gonna like what we have to say. This is the right way to go about things. You know, we've got to take care of things and make sure that everything is going smooth. You know.
Of course. I'm gonna look around and see if I can find a drink or order a drink before he starts talking to me.
Yeah, the bartender's there, but there's just beer glasses in front of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab whatever drink and just begin drinking it.
Yeah, someone like looks at you and nods and like gives you a cheers. He's missing 3 teeth.
Okay.
Yeah. Immediately you notice that every single person in this room is human or lizard folk.
Okay.
There's nothing else in this room. Kaz, I think that I need to have you roll.
Okay.
You are deceiving these people, so I need some form of deception check. And this is not a one roll and you're out thing, but this is like, how well is your disguise holding up? Do they believe in you? Are you able to say the right things at the right times to make them feel like they get you?
Yeah, I'm gonna use my inspiration for this. 15.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you're easily able to be part of the group. People like you. They take a shining to you. People chat with you a little bit, and then at about like 20 minutes after you get there, the meeting officially starts, and it starts with Oscar just walking over and just holding his hands up and punching a gong, right? And he turns to you and he starts speaking. And I don't really want to do this speech right now.
Okay.
Because it's super frigging cringy and racist and uncomfortable. And it's rooted a lot in ritual, right? So there's a lot of call and response. There's a lot of he says something and there's an obvious word that comes at the end of it, right? And like he is trying to rile you guys up, essentially. And the whole thing is like just the phrase that like sticks with you as like the core thing is true Celestrans, right? True Celestrans just keeps on coming back and back again, and people are chanting it, and it becomes a whole thing. They are talking mostly right now about recruitment. They're talking about getting more members, bringing people into the fold, making sure that the right sorts of people are supporting these things. They're not right now talking about anything that would be aggressive, but they are talking about recruiting specific types of people, right? Specifically, they want people in authority, they want high profile targets, and that's sort of what's going on right now. The meeting comes to an end. I'm gonna again gloss over it, and people are super pumped, right? Blood is pumping. Everyone feels like they've been part of a rally, right? And there's like 40 people in this room, so it's not like an unreasonable feeling in some sense. And Oscar jogs over to you, and again, just sort of like looks at you and sort of looks around at everyone. This is 1 second and drops down to the floor and just bam, bam, starts doing push-ups, right, just in front of you to build up a light sweat, and then he hops back up onto his feet, slightly out of breath. He does like 10 push-ups. It's not nothing. And he looks at you and he says, Sorry, I just I feel out of it if I don't work out a little bit here.
Yeah, I completely understand. And this whole time as this kind of speech has been happening, Kaz has just been thinking about yesterday and the look on those men, their faces when she got to them, and put on a excited face, and she's gonna go like, yeah, I totally understand. She's gonna drop down and do some push-ups too.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. You get up and he like pats you on the back. Yeah, you get it. You totally get it. Right. It's a lot of like testosterone going on right now.
Oh,
and
boy.
he says, "So, I take it you liked what you heard, right?"
Oh yeah, big time. My favorite words that you just said.
Right. I know. Isn't this great? Yeah. Here, and he like reaches out and he grabs an armband and he offers it to you.
Take the armband, put it on.
Yeah. And he says, "So, look, you're new and all, right? But I can tell. I've got like a sixth sense about this stuff, right? This is the right sort of place for you, you know? Like, and you want to help out a little bit, right?"
I sure do.
Right? Yeah, I know. This is I knew you would. I totally was confident that you would. Right? I could see it. Yeah. So, we need like there's a project that I've been working on. I'm sort of wondering if you might be able to help out a little bit.
Tell me more.
Well, we're trying to recruit members, right? We're trying to just sort of grow the organization, get some people involved and things like that. And obviously, like we're trying to like we want to have influence because obviously, like our way of thinking, this is the way of thinking. This is we're trying to protect Chalestra. Like keep Chalestra Chalestran, and like to do that whole thing, like it's like important that we have like people in positions of authority to help us out.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so like I've been working on him a little bit, but he hasn't come around yet. And I'm honestly I'm not certain if he ever will. You know who I'm talking about? And he sort of scratches his cheek a little bit.
No, I don't follow.
What the captain.
I see. You want to get the captain on board.
Yeah, I mean that would be great. If we can get him on board, that'd be awesome. But even more important than that is finding a way to like make sure that that like whoever is captain of the guard is a true believer like us.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I know. But I'm more of a straightforward kind of person. I mean, I got these. I flex my muscles. I never had
he
much
reaches
of a
out and like
brain.
slaps your muscle for you, like on your whatever, just sort of feels it.
It was never one to really think about things too much. If you need me to do something, I'm gonna need you to just tell me what it is you need me to do.
Oh. Yeah, straight talk. I like that. Straight talk, man. That's the way to do it. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we don't have a specific need here. We're just, we've got time. We're not in a rush or anything like that. I mean, it's not like anything's happening. But with the war coming probably down the pipeline, we want to make sure that we're like Chalestra strong before then, and that means having like people in authority be people like us. People who agree with us, people who share our mindset, and if the captain isn't one of them, then well, we've got to find a way to replace him. Get him to retire, or disappear him.
That makes sense. Of course, you would need to do such a thing.
Yeah. So I can count on your support.
Yes, you absolutely can.
Good. Then this is your first mission. Oh, Jackson in back is giving out tats to the people, to some of the members. Do you want one?
wouldn't be good for my my skin. I've got very sensitive skin.
Oh. Sure. Okay, yeah, no problem. I got one. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Looks cool. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, and he turns to show you his back and just sort of points at his upper shoulder blade, where you see the broken chain symbol.
Dang, that's one sick tattoo.
Yeah, you're telling me I earned that thing, right? That was a reward for my service to the Night Watch.
Makes sense.
Well, we got meetings every week, so and if you find anyone who you think might help out, someone who belongs, then you can bring them along, and maybe we can get the word out that way.
Yeah, I might know someone.
Cool. I like it. Well, I'll see you at the office, Kaz. Your name. Sorry. What name? Is your
Oh my
Sorry, I
god,
apologize.
my heart.
That was my bad. My bad.
I was like, wow, what a reveal.
Oh no, sorry. My bad. 100%.
Kamala.
I'll see you at the office, Kamala.
Yeah, see you around, Oscar.
And he nods. And you leave.
Oh,
Thomas,
boy.
how you doing?
Oh, if it weren't for the fact that he hadn't slept in about 36 hours and been through some major shit all leading up to that, he probably wouldn't have gotten much sleep.
Did he get sleep?
Yeah, exhaustion was too much. He really did try to stay awake and be guilty all night long, but it didn't work out like that.
That happens sometimes. Sometimes you can't stay guilty all night long.
Also, I'm not sure if it's what you intended.
Go for it.
That if the morning sky is, as you said, like very red and very bright, there is an old sailor saying that basically ends with red skies at dawn. Red skies in morning, shepherd's warning, which basically means that there's a storm coming.
There indeed is.
Okay, was that intentional? Because if so, that was really cool. Okay, cool. I just wanted to know. Also, yikes. Okay, so Thomas knows that as well. And he is 1000% sure that this is related to him personally and the bad thing that he did. He's gonna check on Blackberry, and then his plan for the day is to he's gonna try to find Samhain, if that's even a possibility based on Samhain's plans, to get a kind of a reading, and he's gonna try to find a way to get a message to Fabian, actually, because the events of the previous night did seal his resolve to do that. Clearly he needs to talk to someone.
Okay. Do you want to do the reading first, or do you want to try and talk to Fabian first?
I think the reading first.
Okay. Would Thomas be able to find Samhain?
Most likely, yes.
Cool.
He's probably in his room.
Is he in a food coma?
Not gonna be too keen to get out and start doing stuff as of right yet.
Okay. So Thomas is in goes to Samhain's bar, the Busted Barnacle, and heads upstairs to Samhain's room and knocks on the door.
One moment, please. You hear shuffling around. Basically what Samhain's doing is checking to make sure that his violin is still where he stashed it, because he didn't think to check last night before he came into bed.
It is.
Okay. Cool. It doesn't look like it's been tampered with.
Doesn't seem like anyone's touched it.
Amazing. Okay. And then he'll open the door a crack and look out. Oh, Thomas. Do you need something? Was there a meeting today?
No, not at all. I'm so sorry to trouble you. Do you have a moment? Because I mean, I don't mean to wake you, and I do apologize for that, but I'm having a lot of difficulty coming to a decision, and I was wondering if And again, if it's too early, I can come back. But do you think you'd be able to help me speak with the cards today? I don't know what exactly is speaking to you through them, and we haven't the faintest if they're even related to the experience that we both had, but they seem to have guided you well so far, and honestly, that's guidance is a bit of something I'm lacking at the moment.
Well, that makes two of us. And so I was just gonna open the door and allow Thomas to come in. And then he's gonna deadbolt the door and stuff behind Thomas. Alright, so you want me to look at my cards for you?
Would it be possible?
Yeah, what is the question you have? Guidance doesn't really, it's not really helpful for interpretation purposes. I kind of need something a little bit more, something with more substance.
Of course. I'm not sure how this would impact our activities, and chances are that if it did come to pass, I would have less time or more eyes on me and would have to take additional precautions.
Okay.
And I've been offered my position at the Temple of Tamden.
Is my place really the place to be speaking about this? Because if we're going to continue at length, then there's something I need to do before we can continue.
What is that?
Basically what someone's gonna do is cast non-detection on himself and then on Thomas.
Okay.
Prying eyes and inquiring minds don't really need to hear our conversation. So I've blown both my 3rd level spell slots.
Okay.
Go on. You can continue. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
Oh no, it's fine.
Given the current state of affairs, I really do not feel comfortable talking anywhere that isn't the Soulwood Tavern.
Of course. I mean, I suppose it's not terribly dangerous, whoever hears this information. Depending on the way things break, it'll probably be common knowledge sooner or later, but High Priestess Sola has found Arca Fairwind to be unequal to his role as the priest of Tamden in this city, and has offered me the position, or alternately asked for my help in finding a replacement. And I'm at a bit of a crossroads, especially given recent events that make me feel a bit unworthy.
So you want to know the route you should take spiritually?
And, literally.
Well, the cards...
Anything they have to say, really.
The cards aren't really going to tell you exactly what you need to do. And as I've mentioned before, I'm merely an interpreter of what the cards say. Whether or not I interpret them correctly is an entirely different matter. And your takeaway is also something that is its own matter as well. So, with that in mind, do you want me to do a 3-card draw, Matthew?
I think a 3-card draw is appropriate.
Okay. All right. Here we go, everybody.
Yay.
Brace your butts. Okay, we have the Knight of Pentacles. Efficiency, hard work, and routine. A man of utmost diligence, he knows what he wants and is relentless in his pursuit. He is a hard worker, completing his mission with complete and terrible efficiency. Although his path is long and hard, filled with tasks that might be repetitive and tiring, giving up is not an option. Then we have the Six of Pentacles. Charity, generosity, and sharing. Compassion and understanding breeds generosity, sharing, and charity. One gives away the fruits of one's labors with the understanding that the situation of having the upper hand can be reversed at any moment. And last but not least, the Six of Cups. Nostalgia, happy memories, and reunion. The happy meeting between past and present is indicated here. There is a sense of wonderful nostalgia for times long ago. The memories coming back, though, can sometimes be so engrossing that you begin to forget your present. These motherfucking cards.
I'm so stoked about this.
Thomas is knocked back.
Well, for those of you watching at home,
Oh my god.
these cards are creepily premonitious, shall we say, and very much so. It's disturbing.
I love this.
It's not my fault. Maybe it is my fault. Maybe I am a witch.
I think you are a witch, yes. And I only mean that in the best sense. I want to be very clear.
You a good witch or a bad witch?
No, she is the best witch.
Oh my.
So how does Thomas react to this reading?
Like you said, he's a little stunned. He's like sitting back in his chair, just kind of like. Solon has him at a loss for words, which is not a place that he's used to being in.
Yeah.
I know you have your disclaimer before you do this, but we've really got to figure out what the fuck is going on.
I mean, it could be the same entity as what is that's your ring, or it could be something else entirely. I have no way of figuring out what that is. And how does Thomas's ring look today?
It's still very present, but the blood in it has drained entirely. It is back to its pale yellow.
Well, did I see it when it was red?
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think Kaz is the only one who would have seen it.
Yep. And Thomas and Mercury.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, aside from.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that you knew that you noticed it. You noticed it first.
Yeah. Because he was the only one there when he did absorb it.
Yeah, of course.
How illuminating.
You know what? Yeah, I don't really have an answer for you.
Clearly something does. Although it's not really the answer that I was really hoping these bloody cards would tell me to run for the hills. It's been years since the city is different now. It's not. Anyone who takes this position needs to be ready for what's coming.
Then who better than you?
Probably quite a few people, but I was literally just telling Arca Fairwind on his way out the door yesterday that if you are in a place to help and you are doing your utmost, then you're the best person for the job. So I'm a bit of a hypocrite now, aren't I?
I don't follow. I mean, you know what's coming.
Do any of us?
I mean, the right. It may not be red painting on the wall in bold font, but the signs are there. You can feel it. It's like a disease with a slow but ever present onset.
I know it's possible, even likely, but I never want to give up hope that this city is beyond saving.
Oh, I never said it was beyond saving. I just
Oh no,
said that.
I know. I went there.
And while the cards may seem to give us answers and guidance, we all have our own agency. And like I said, I'm merely an interpreter, and I am conveying that information to you. And you are left to draw your own conclusions about what that means.
Well, I'm sorry to have interrupted your morning for this level of gravitas. Really, I try not to do that myself before coffee or something.
I've been awake for a while. It's not a problem.
Thought of that going around. Do you suppose any of this will ever start to feel like the clear right thing?
So Sawa's just gonna look at Thomas and go, normally our positions would be reversed, I think, given our age difference.
Isn't life funny? Well, I mean, that's the most fortuitous thing, I think, to have happened to me lately. Meeting the lot of you, and honestly, I feel like I may have learned more in the last month than I have over the course of years, maybe even decades, and that's the one. I suppose I've contradicted myself. Meeting you all, even Juniper, has been the one thing in all of this that feels positive. When we're all huddled up in that tavern, it feels like we're able to do something to make a little bit of a difference, that even if it's not immediate, that we're working towards it, you know?
Are you still angry with her?
I wasn't ever angry. I wanted to understand what was going on. Lord knows none of us are saints. I mean, I thought that Kazan might be, but, people can surprise you. No, Juniper's going to be fine. I mean, above all else, I understand wanting to keep the people who are important to you in your life.
I think that would be something that you might need to tell Juniper.
I will. I haven't seen her in the previous evening. I wonder what she's up to.
I think maybe maybe you should take the time to see her this morning.
I've got a couple of errands to run, but I assure you,
I think
Juniper is high up on my list.
So Sawa's just gonna lean forward and go, I think that Juno was more important than, not that I don't enjoy our visits and chats, but I think Juno is a little bit more important than me this morning.
I'll take it under consideration. Okay, now I am going to pull the age card. I'm very wise and intelligent, and I'm leaving now.
Excellent. So, excellent. Thomas leaves.
He sweeps out the door
Yes,
with a
I love it.
flourish.
Okay. Thomas, what's next on your errand list?
Thank you very much. He's gonna go try to find someone who can get in contact with Fabian.
Yeah, roll an investigation check.
Hella.
I'm on the wrong things. 23. Nice. Yeah. So there's this fancy new organization that a friend of a friend of a friend of yours knows about. They're relatively cool. They're predominantly dwarves, dwarven specialists in psionic communication, and they create pathways between you and someone that you want to speak with, and they allow the two of you to have a conversation at any distance for a small fee.
How small a fee?
They charge 1 gold per minute.
Okay. No, that's really great because your average sending takes a turn to cast, so about 6 seconds or 25 words or whatever. So that's actually quite a long conversation.
Yep. It's also worth remembering that it's 1 gold per minute is about $20 a minute, just to put this in perspective.
I mean, that's fine. Yeah. I mean,
You've got gold.
He's got change.
Yeah. You guys don't have bills, so gold goes a long way.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get there, and there is a dwarf, and they have this very long beard, and it goes down to the ground, and it's actually dragging behind them as they walk around. Ooh, are you a customer?
I believe so. Is this the location where you can send messages?
Yes, this is the Abarak Psionic Shop.
Okay, you speak rather loudly for someone in your line of work. Is there an assurance that no one will overhear this? I would think that discretion would be important. It's
vital. It's in fact part of our motto.
Okay, I'm just making sure because you seem very excited.
Sorry, we just opened this new shop up in Chalestra 3 weeks ago, and already we're getting a fair amount of business, and it's just, we didn't know if it would travel very well because people tended not to use it, but then people are using it to call Chalestra all the time, so we figured maybe people in Chalestra would use it to call back.
Well, all right, it's very important to keep those lines of communication open.
Yes, we need a new name, though. We're unhappy with our name, but we'll get there. So I need to know
branding is essential.
About the person that you are trying to contact. Our rates are 1 gold per minute, by the way.
Thomas pulls out an old wanted poster of Fabian.
Yes! I love it. Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty good likeness. He's about 15 years younger.
And do you have any idea where this Fabian fellow is? It helps sometimes to psionically locate him. We can put a psionic tracker on him.
Can I give you the approximate latitude and longitude because?
And he turns around and puts and says, actually, just come with me into the back room so you can talk privately, so that you're not here in the front, if that's okay.
Yes, thank you so much.
And he starts walking back, and he opens the door. They clearly did not build this for you. It is way too short. But there are chairs in there that are your height, and so if you sit down, you'll be comfortable. But you go inside, and there's a giant map on the wall, and he says, anywhere that we only do the Shimmering Seas and sort of maybe slightly extended environs, but basically the Shimmering Seas area right now.
I feel like his island is it's a ways and probably secret to most just because of the nature of his life. But
you know where it is.
He's gonna give him the approximate area.
So he points there and says, okay, great. So now I have to make contact with him, make sure that he's comfortable accepting the spell. We don't allow people to prank call people for obvious reasons. So once he's comfortable accepting the spell, what I will do is I will transfer the spell to this
can
rock.
I call collect?
No, you're here. We don't have a shop there.
I was just wondering.
No. And so he points and he says, there's a rock there. And all you have to do is, once he's agreed to the spell, you can touch the rock, and he will be able to hear you. And I will leave the room. I won't have anything to do with the spell, so even I won't know what you say. Discretion being an important thing for our business, psionics, and all that.
Thank you so much. And he gives him an extra gold. He's like, I do appreciate that.
And he takes the gold and good stuff. Sticks in a pocket. And then he does the thing where he sticks his fingers on either side of his head and then closes his eyes and goes, He said, yes, that's your rock. And points to the rock and turns and walks out the door and closes the door.
Okay. Well, I don't know if this is going to work like a normal sending spell, where I have like 25 words and then they reply back or whatever.
Nope, this is psionic communication.
Oh, okay. Well, then I paste out an exact 25-letter message for nothing. That's fine. Or 25 word. Never mind. Faye, it's Tom. Lacey is in turmoil. I'm in turmoil. I may have killed a man. Shut up. I may have the opportunity to return to the priesthood, and I could help people who badly need it, but I am feeling a bit unequal to the task. Thoughts?
Sorry, you killed a man?
You know, I wouldn't get hung up on that. Also, it's a little expensive, this conversation. So
I'm sorry, but you need to tell me. You killed, I mean, Tom, after
Unclear.
The lectures I received, and you want me to just blow past this?
Like, not like you, not like with a lot of blood. It, you know, I still wouldn't, you know. The point being.
Yeah. The point being what, Tom?
What should I do?
How's Oceana?
She's well. She was in town recently. We got to see each other.
Good. She hasn't sent me a letter in a little while. I just figured I'd check in.
Yeah, she seems quite confident in her abilities recently. You should talk to her. It could be enlightening. But she's doing well.
Well, she's supposed to visit sometime next week, but you know, we'll see how that all goes.
Excellent.
How are you arranging this call, by the way? Can I do this to you? Is that possible?
Do you have a dwarf or someone who is trained in Abrakian psionics?
Don't think that counts. Oh, psionics. That's what this whole thing is. Got it.
How many minutes have passed?
Like just 2.
Pirates.
Psionics. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll get one. This is kind of nice. It's good to hear your voice.
Okay, well, you don't just procure psionics. Like, they would have to want to come with you. I know that's a little bit of a foreign concept. I may be a possible murderer, but I'm not, you know, a kidnapper. Unlike some people.
Hey, that was perfectly justified considering the circumstances. I was very much in the right of that whole thing. And, you know, they paid the ransom, so it all worked out okay.
Oh, yeah, Shanghaiing is always justified as long as someone can pay.
It was a perfectly legitimate business transaction. I had something that they wanted back. They gave me money, and I gave it to them.
What are you wearing?
Tom, don't get me started. We're not starting that right now.
Oh, what were we talking about? I forget. Anyway, do you think I should return to the priesthood?
Tom, I think you should do what you believe is right. And I think that what you believe is right is helping people. I've never understood that, really. And it's always been your
all the time.
least endearing quality to me, I will admit. But
I'm sticking my tongue out at you, you just can't tell.
That's true, I can't even see your face. Oh, psionic communication's truly flawed.
Mwah.
Mwah right back. Tom, you like to help people. I don't think there's a follow-up to that. You just like to help people. I don't know why you accept all these people just putting their petty squabbles on you and trying to sort them out and make a difference in lives. Great. More power to you. I have an island, and I have made myself clear. If you want to come live on my island with me, I would be very happy to have you. We'd have to work out an arrangement, of course, because well, there are some people here, and I'm enjoying some good pina coladas right now and all that stuff. But, you know,
you should be so lucky, you old sea dog.
Well, you never know. A man can dream.
All right, well, this has been enlightening, and I do miss you.
Of course you do.
Talk soon. And
I'd like that. It's been too long.
He doesn't respond. He gets up and leaves. Should I take this rock out to you, or
No,
are
you
you
can
going
leave it
to
in the
come
room.
and get
And
it?
are you done?
Yes, I'm done. Am I getting charged for this part of the conversation?
No, once you're out, you're out. 5
okay,
gold.
I'm out. Thank you.
Yeah, he holds out a hand for 5 gold.
Oh, and if you give out the location of that under any circumstances, I'm going to be back, and we're going to have a few words.
Roll an intimidation check.
I'm not using Fey presence or anything because I want to be able to come back
that's
here if I
Juniper.
need to. But
There's Thomas right
why did he go
there. Just
away?
double click.
Or yeah. So yeah, he seems like would never do that. Sir, never given away a location in my life.
Wonderful. And he does slide him that extra gold.
Thanks, sir. And he takes the stuff and is quite happy. Okay. Salwyn. Let's check in with you.
Oh, did I get muted during my my snarky comment? I said yes, oh benevolent DM.
I'm loving
Oh, I don't know if that's snarky.
It depends on what you have in store for me then.
What do you have in store for us?
Let's see. It's the next day, right?
Yeah, this is now technically Sunday.
Yeah. How far is Lord Tiefling Humperdink's mansion from where I am right now?
He's in the nice part of town. You're in the poor part of town. We've sort of established it takes about an hour and a half walk.
Oh, that's painful. His sister.
Would you walk an hour and a half for your sister?
No, I would not.
That's fine by me.
Okay. Pros and cons. Pros. I get to see my sister. Cons. She's lying to her mans. She's lying. She said we are royalty. I have to show up in an expensive ass carriage to keep up the lie. Gotta take that carriage all the way back to town. Cause that ain't suspect. You know what? I'm putting that off for another day.
Sounds good.
Like someone's just like looking at his hands, going pros, cons.
I love it.
Not today.
I love it. I love it. If this were Burning Wheel, you'd earn a point for that, by the way, just for role playing out the pros and cons thing. That gets you a point in Burning Wheel.
We established that this is fall time.
Yeah, we're heading towards the end of fall.
Okay. So I still don't have to yet fill my obligation for...
No, not for a month.
Criminal man, whose name has slipped my mind, and his child. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good. What I'd like to do is just get a lesson out with Josen. Oh, and also do another day of because we're doing a whole week of this, right?
Not yet, we haven't, but we will. But I just want to see if there's anything else you want to accomplish today. The other thing that's on my list is that I have you scheduled to meet Masha Seasworn tonight.
Yes,
okay.
I would like to do that.
Okay.
I don't think that there's anything like super pressing that I'd want to accomplish.
Great. Then I'll check in with someone else and we'll come back to you. Sound good?
Yep.
Let's check in with Faye.
Okay. Well, if I haven't had any, I guess, new work to do, I would actually kind of be interested in, like, you know, I think I might actually use that. She might use that position that she just got to see what else people in the council are doing. So that
Perfect.
might be something for a later
Yeah, that's
time.
like a downtime
maybe.
thing. Cool. So that sounds good.
Yeah, that's a downtime thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, honestly, if she has some free time, she would probably just like very briefly drop off a book from the Luminous Starborn, like a collection of her speeches or something, with Blackberry.
He accepts it gratefully.
Sweet. And she might be. No, that's another thing for downtime too.
Okay. If people have nothing but downtime stuff, let me check back in with Thomas because I think Thomas had another errand to run. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong.
Yeah, she'll just come back and study a little bit.
Beautiful. Did you have another errand to run, Thomas?
I guess he's like, I want to establish that if we do a time skip at the end of this episode, he's absolutely checking in with Juniper. Like,
great.
He didn't need to be told that, but he's.
I think
going
it says
to...
more that Samhain told you that than it does that. Like, I don't think you needed to be told that, but I think Samhain needed to tell you that. If that makes sense.
Okay, Mom. No.
Dad.
He's going to. Oh, my apologies.
Samhain is your dad.
Yes, this is accurate. This is actually canon now. He's going to go and find Sola at this newfangled hotel contraption. What is that about?
I know, right? Yeah. So you find Sola in her room. Come in.
Do you have a moment?
Oh, Thomas. Yes, come on in. Make yourself at home.
It's quite a nice place. It's taller than I thought it would be.
Seriously taller than I thought it would be. I don't know if I've ever actually been this high up and not been on like a mountain or a hill. And even then I'm uncomfortable.
Oh
like
God,
the
look at the view from that window.
I know, right? We can see. Well, there's that lighthouse building over there, and
yes, that's new.
It's like a bookstore or something like that. I don't know, whatever. And then the ocean. It's quite lovely from up here, I have to admit. It's raining right now, though, just a little bit.
No,
probably worse later.
No, we're due for a storm in any case.
Yes.
Have you
Long one
had
if the predictions are correct.
Have you had any luck in contacting your acquaintance?
The priestess of Gyatsa is a not an ally. She is quite happy with the way things are going, but wasn't making the same mistakes that Akka was making, so I could not justify her removal.
So she is perfectly fine sanctioning people going about saying whatever they feel about Gyatsa, as long as they are uplifting her in any way.
You have put it succinctly, my friend.
Is the position with the temple still available?
Which temple? Akka's temple? The Tamden?
If it's well enough with you, I'd
Oh.
like to come home.
I was always sorry that you had left. You are, of course, welcome back. Hold on. And she goes to the other room and comes back. And she's holding in her hands a necklace, and she sort of looks down at it. And this is normally a gift that I reserve for people when they reach their 25th year of service to the temple. But I cannot think of a more appropriate time. And she places it over your neck.
I bow a little bit to enable that.
It looks good on you, and it should help you.
Hopefully the work we have to do in the community will suit as well.
Yes. She nods. Thank you for your help, my friend. I can't bring you back and immediately make you chair of the religious bodies, but I hope that your presence speaking with the other religious leaders will encourage at least a different take than the Primarchs.
Yeah, by the gods, baby steps. It feels like we could be in use of a few level voices. Things are going to be different now.
They always are. And I think that's the end of that scene. And our next scene, and our last scene for 9 Nights episode, takes place in a darkened alley. There is a storm brewing, and we see Samhain's figure at the end of the alley, walking towards an old witch's shop. The door opens with a jingle before someone gets there, and you see her lizard folk hand just reach out and just beckon in. Come in, Samhain.
Oh God.
We're all set up.
Yep. All right.
And I think that's where we're going to end tonight's episode.
Oh
my God.
Oh, dang.
Oh, God. Some intense moments tonight, guys.
I don't know. I had a perfectly pleasant time.
Yeah, Gina was chilling.
Gina made a friend. She had matcha. She's good.
God.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, someone was going to meet Masha.
Matcha.
Masha C-Swan.
Masha.
And Masha. And we are, I just want to clarify, going to do a time skip right now. I think it's going to be a substantial one, actually. I think that you all receive a note from General Quick Eyes telling you guys that there's too much going on and it's probably not safe to meet at this moment. And so he encourages a month-long hiatus. So we're going to time skip about a month. But that doesn't mean you're not doing things during that month. Things happen. We just will reveal them. So think about what you're doing during that month. We're not going to role play a lot of scenes out, but I want to know, what is your life like during that month? Are you pretending to be a cop, Kaz, for that entire time? Are you studying something with our mysterious benefactor for you? Thomas, are you wasting gold talking to Fabian every day? Are you chatting with these people? Are you being a good shepherd to your flock, as it were?
Wasting is a little strong.
That's fair. I'm curious, how are you spending your time? That's sort of the goal there. But let us do, for now, experience points, as we forgot to do last time, although we did end up doing it off stream. So, did you learn something about Primarch Magli, Blackice, or his co-conspirators?
Yes.
What do you think you learned?
Well, they're doing an art commission to sort of take the heat off of what they're actually doing.
Yes, that is in fact exactly accurate.
Also, the Priestess of Gatsa is definitely on board with him.
100%. So yes, you can take that experience point. Did you express your character's class, species, or background in a meaningful way? You can nominate other people for this prize. I would like to take a second and nominate Kaz,
Yes,
who is a paladin of vengeance and enacted vengeance today. Kaz, would you take an experience point for that, please?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else want to nominate someone?
I'd like to nominate Juno for doing her studying session.
I agree. Studying sessions always deserve experience points. How do you get better without studying? Experience points, yay! I love it.
That wizard aesthetic.
Yep.
Someone is still trying so hard to do good work in this community.
Oh God, yeah. Also
Yeah. So Salmon, you can take that point as well. And what about Thomas? Anyone want to nominate Thomas?
Yeah. Wait.
I was gonna say traitors. No.
Yeah, for sure.
I was gonna nominate you if they weren't.
Something big, but yeah, like his backstory was all up in there with
Absolutely.
the ridiculous flirtation going on.
This is basically Dream Daddy now. This is what it is.
No comment. Excellent. Yeah, you can take that experience point as well. Let's check in with our third one. Did you overcome a meaningful obstacle or impediment to your character? No one feels like they overcame something?
I feel like I did.
What do you feel like you overcame, Thomas?
I feel like the decision to go back was very, very difficult. It was weighing on him a lot. There were a lot of factors at play. I could read you the notebook page that I have compiled over this past week, but basically I did my best to have the major points of conflict that he is feeling play out over the course of the game.
Strongly agree. I loved it. I thought it was a huge decision for Thomas, and I loved the way you role played it out. I'm super pleased with all that shit. So yes, take that experience point 100%, Thomas. Yeah. That is earning an experience point. Also, anytime that your own emotional journey is parallel and or the same stress as your character's emotional journey, you should probably just take an experience point for that just in case. So bravo to Thomas and Sarah.
Aww.
Anyone else feel like their character overcame in something difficult today?
While I think Sawin asked for more time to make a decision before he actually joins this art committee, he had already had his mind made up, and he's going to do it.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So that's a big point. Take that point. I strongly agree. If you're taking that job, that's a point.
He didn't want to seem too eager.
Okay.
He wanted to think about it.
I love it. Okay. But nothing for Kaz, nothing for Juno?
I mean, I think she overcame her enemies in a battle, but I don't. I think that's exactly what she wanted to do.
Was it difficult after the previous evening's events not to just rip into those guys?
Yeah, actually,
I think it would have been hard. I think that would have been a challenge had she not done that the day before.
Oh God, it's stress relief. Oh God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Kaz develops a taste for violence.
Oh my God.
We're
all going dark, y'all.
She's so sweet. We thought she was so sweet.
Yep. And great, let's check in on your beliefs then. Kaz, what was your belief?
To seek vengeance.
Well, take that experience point, please.
Oh,
don't need to revisit that. And Juno, what was your what was your belief?
To find more information on rituals to help Sawin and Thomas.
Great, we'll take that experience point, please.
Okay.
And Thomas, what was your belief?
I'm pretty sure I landed on trying to find a way to contact Fabian or someone who could help me make this decision.
Well, do you feel like Thomas made his decision? So between Sawin and Fabian, take an experience point for that, please. Sawin and the cards, I should say, and Fabian, take an experience point. And,
oh God, there's a character now.
Yep, the cards.
By the way, let this be a lesson to all aspiring game masters, game runners. Just have faith in randomness.
Oh God.
Just have faith. Just believe in it. It will be amazing more often than you can count. And Sawin,
kids, let your player kids use tarot cards.
Of course,
within your game.
God, I made an insane wild magic table with 300 options, and it goes so well in all of my wild magic games. Sometimes they turn into a potted plant, but it's always perfect. And Sawin, did you accomplish your belief?
Yeah, so my belief is using Sawin's influence with Councilman Tarlock and Mimsy Demare to instill the status quo within the city and not let things escalate.
Taking the job. It's the same thing. I feel like you get that experience point 100%.
Okay.
Excellent work, team. Everyone
Did
happy
we learn
with
stuff
that?
about each other, though?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Kaz, do you feel like you learned something about any of your friends today?
No, probably about herself, though.
Yeah, you learned about yourself a little bit there.
Yeah, I learned stuff about Kaz, too.
Did you learn something about Kaz?
Yeah, I did.
Excellent.
I also learned that Sawin is really willing to go to bat for Juno. He really cares very deeply about Juno.
I agree. Mark, inspiration. Juno, did you learn anything about any of your friends?
No, she
Did you
she
see
was
any of your friends?
isolated from all her friends. She saw nobody today.
Excellent.
This is just reinforcing.
Samhain, did you learn anything about any of your friends?
Yeah, I feel like I learned a lot about Thomas, that it spoke volumes that he was willing to come see me first before going to speak with Juno privately.
Yep. I agree. Take
No
that
offense to
inspiration.
Sarah.
That sounds like a little judgy, but like it's okay. That's fine.
Someone is a little judgy of Thomas.
I'm not mad.
Let's not have a southern off, please.
It's fine. I'm fine.
Oh man. Yeah, take that inspiration. Oh guys, I love this game. I love this stream. We are having a lot of fun here. I hope you're having a fun time watching us as we goof around and tell stories for each other that you guys get to watch. If you're enjoying the show, please throw us a like or a subscribe. I put on my promotional voice. If you're enjoying it, check out some of our other stuff. Again, our next show is Thursday at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time. Obviously, with the quarantine, now you have more time to watch RPGs.
Oh god.
So come join us, or or play some RPGs. RPGs are fun to play, and if you're not playing an RPG right now, then go join one. Or if you need to find one, contact me. I will set you up with one. I have plenty, probably, or I have friends who are looking for something, or whatever. Who knows? All that good stuff. But it doesn't have to be on stream. Just play with some friends. It's always fun. As always, we love you. Take care of yourselves. Go live good and happy lives, and never forget to call your cat and feed your mom. Bye.
Bye.